Walking toward the batter's box, here is Cleveland's lineup, Harold.
Well, as you look at the lineup, it's going to be pretty impressive. I think the key guy here is Grady Sizemore to me. He starts it off at center field. DeRosa batting second. He's played third base today. Martinez. I think the key guy at the bottom will be Crow, getting a big start today. That's the Cleveland lineup if you look at it from that perspective.
Based on last year and looking at this team on paper, the Indians will score a lot of runs. It hasn't happened so far in a 2-7 start. They won yesterday in Kansas City 5-4. Sizemore shows the bunt and takes a ball. And now the plate umpire Tom Hallion is asking CC Sabathia, who so far is unaware, to toss the ball out. First pitch ever thrown in a regular season game at the new Yankee Stadium. CC was so locked in he wasn't thinking so much about memorabilia as he was about Sizemore.
And I think, Bob and Harold, that'll be the key early on for CC is his nerves. And you might say, well, hey, guy like this making all
by Paul O'Neill, who got a nice ovation when he's introduced to the crowd, along with 46 Yankee all-timers, to bring some of the magic from across the street. The 2-0. There's a strike. Sabathia had one bad start and one good start. The bad start in Baltimore, the good one in Kansas City. He's 1-1, 4.50. 14 hits in 12 innings, 5 walks and 6 strikeouts. Ground ball to Teixeira. He'll step on the bag. There's one away.
Let's check out our Jeep Scouting report on CC Sabathia. The Indians and the Marlins. Those are the only two teams he has never faced. Of course, he played for Cleveland, broke in with the Indians back in 2001. And the Marlins, he has a chance to pitch against them this year because the Yankees play them in interleague play. 2001, he was the runner-up to Ichiro Suzuki of the Mariners for Rookie of the Year. He broke in with Cleveland, winning 17 games as a rookie. And worked between starts. After that bad start in Baltimore, Michael, he worked hard in between starts and got it together against the Kansas City Royals and beat them with a strong outing.
There's Mark DeRosa, and the pitch is low, 1-0. What you almost have to come to grips with, Kenny, is that there's a ball game to be played.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, the pop and circumstance is going to dominate at the beginning, but you have to settle down and play a game, both of these teams. The 1-0 outside. IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider of Yankees baseball on Yes. It is opening day here in the Bronx. 9 games on the road, 10 days, 3 cities. Longest season opening road trip in the history of the New York Yankee organization.
And after an 0-2 start, the Yankees won 5 of the last 7 games to come into the new Yankee Stadium with a winning record.
The 2-0. There's that changeup, which he really used a lot in Kansas City. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. It could not be more beautiful. 55 degrees, humidity 27%, not much wind. It is a perfect opening day. Very few clouds in the sky. And the place is jammed. The 2-1. 2-2.
Jorge Posada behind the plate. 5-time All-Star. And of course, the Yankees missed him greatly last year out with that shoulder injury. He seems to have bounced back well. And adding his leadership from behind home plate, he gets the assignment here on opening day, catching CC Sabathia.
And that was a big deal for him why he rehabbed as hard as he did. He wanted to be behind the plate for the opening day in the new ballpark. And here he is catching CC Sabathia, signed during the offseason as a free agent. The 2-2. A little bit upstairs, a 3-2. You'd have to think, Kenny, that CC has to be a little bit geeked today.
Well, you know, hopefully, I thought that was what happened to him in Baltimore on opening day, that just trying to throw too hard, do too much, and got a little bit out of rhythm and didn't have a good outing. He bounced back and looked like CC Sabathia in Kansas City.
3-2, soft ground ball up the middle. Cano to Teixeira. 2 away. Let's take a look at the Indian starting lineup, which is presented by BMW. You've got Grady Sizemore in center leading off. He has not done very well against the Yankees in his career. Mark DeRocher at third, bats second. Victor Martinez, the first baseman, hits third. Johnny Peralta plays short and cleans up. Shin-Soo Choo, the DH, will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Ben Francisco. Kelly Shalpick, the catcher, will hit seventh. Batting eighth, playing second base is Tony Graffinino. And Trevor Crow, the left fielder, is going to bat ninth. So 2 away, and here's Victor Martinez.
Martinez, one of the few Indians that's gotten off to a pretty good start. The Indians come in with a record of 2-7, and they have struggled. They haven't done many things well. They haven't hit well, haven't pitched well, and haven't defended well at this point in the season. A lot of people think that they have a chance to win the division this year, the American League Central.
Pitch to Victor Martinez is low, 1-0. Let's take a look at the umpires in this ballgame. Tom Hallion's behind the plate. Phil Cuzzy at first. Ed Hickox is at second. And Jerry Crawford is over at third. Last year, the Indians got off to a bad start, 5-10. And never really recovered. Pitch is low, 2-0.
Yeah, they finished at an even 500, 81-81 under Eric Wedge. Here's the manager. This is his 7th season. 2007, he was manager of the year in the American League.
Last year in the second half, they went 40-28, but they rebounded, but they had dug themselves too big of a hole, the 2-1. There's strike 2-2. Well, they brought the 2-strike chant from across the street. And that started with Louisiana Lightning, Ron Guidry, when he struck out 18 Angels. They were the California Angels then, but 2-2. Swung on and missed. Blows a fastball by Victor Martinez, the first strikeout here at the new Yankee Stadium. So an impressive top of the first inning by CC Sabathia. The Indians go down in order. The New York Yankees coming to bat. And he will be the first Yankee batter to bat here at the new Yankee Stadium, and he was the last Yankee batter to bat in the old stadium. And as is his custom, he insists that when he is introduced for the rest of his career, he will be introduced by Bob Shepard. Now that bat right there, which is being held by the Bat Boy, it has some history to it. That was the bat which Babe Ruth hit the home run.
Derek Jeter, number 2.
Against the Boston Red Sox when the place opened in 1923. The Yankees won that game 4-1. So that bat starts off at home plate in the new Yankee Stadium, and the captain, Derek Jeter, will march to the plate, and he will pick up that bat.
Your attention to home plate. The bat that is displayed at home plate is the bat that was used by Babe Ruth to hit the first home run in Yankee Stadium in 1923. We recognize this piece of Yankees history today before the first Yankees at bat here in this Yankee Stadium. The history and tradition.
You know, Michael, listen here. Everybody asks, what do you want from the old stadium? I just figured out what I want. I want the bat. Can we get that bat? Huh?
I think that bat's at Cooperstown.
There's the great Bambino. Derek actually played as if he was going to hit that. with that bat, but then handed it back, and it will go back to the Hall of Fame. Jorge Posada wants to swing.
That bat's about 40 ounces, I think.
And the pitch to Jeter is upstairs. 1-0. Cliff Lee on the mound, and every Yankees getting a turn with that bat. That is history right there. Hit the first home run at the old Yankee Stadium back in 1923. Matsui wants it, the Babe Ruth of Japan. Fly ball center field. And Sizemore is there. And there's one away. Well, the Yankees starting lineup presented by BMW. We just saw the captain, Derek Jeter, lead off. Look at the numbers against the Indians. Johnny Damon's at left, Mark Teixeira at first. Nick Swisher cleans up and plays right. Jorge Posada will catch, he'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, the second baseman, Robinson Cano. Then Matsui, the DH, Ransom, the third baseman, and Brett Gardner, the center fielder, will bat ninth. There's Johnny Damon.
Well, the numbers on Cliff Lee. He's gotten off to somewhat of a slow start. He only lost 3 games all of last year. He's lost his first 2 starts this year.
Has a broken bat, first one at the stadium.
Let's check out our Jeep Scout report on Cliff Lee. He was the starter at the All-Star game across the street at the old Yankee Stadium last year. And he got that honor by leading the American League in wins and earned run average. And Gaylord Perry, 1974. Gaylord Perry was the last Cleveland Indian to win as many as 20 games in a season. And that's a 33-year gap. That's the biggest gap for any team in Major League history.
Damon slices one foul.
I should have said Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry.
You know, you see his numbers and you see those from last year's Cy Young, everything. And if you knew nothing about baseball, you would never see him on the mound and say this is a guy that was so dominating. But, I mean, he was so sharp last year. He pitched so well when he needed big outs, when he needed big strikeouts, everything. He just had that magical year last year. That's not to say that, you know, he's not a great pitcher. It's just everything went well last year.
Line drive. There's the first base hit at Yankee Stadium. A single to center field by Johnny Damon. And that ball will be taken out of the game as well.
Maybe by Johnny.
I don't think he's got an option for that one either.
No, I think that's headed to Cooperstown too.
Yeah, I think that goes to a higher authority.
Here's a look at the breaking ball from Cliff Lee. You can see it's in the middle of the plate. You know, lefty on lefty. You dreamed of breaking balls like that in the middle of the plate, Paul.
Well, you see that little break, but it was kind of a flat break. It never left the plane that that you like to hit. And as a left-handed hitter, if you don't get that down movement from a lefty, then you can handle that pitch.
Pitch to Mark Teixeira. There's a strike. Well, you mentioned what Cliff Lee did last year. He was the first pitcher in baseball history to post a sub-3 ERA in 200 innings pitched, after having a 6+ ERA in the previous season, in a season in which he pitched 50 or more innings. So he made a jump that had never been done before.
He was 1-0 against the Yankees last year. He beat the Yankees right here. I shouldn't say right here. Across the street on May 7th at the old Yankee Stadium. Ooh. Look out!
I got him hard. You can hear it up here. Ooh. Trying to come inside on Teixeira, and it kept riding in, couldn't get out of the way.
Teixeira assuring Gene Monahan that he's okay. Looked like he got him right on the tricep. That's going to leave a mark. You know, Michael mentioned what a beautiful day is here. We've had some days where it hadn't been so nice here in cold New York. Let's listen to it.
That sounds worse.
That's still it. Do you remember who hit you the hardest?
Yeah, you know, the funny thing was the worst I ever got hit was by a guy who threw a knuckleball. And the reason was I went to get out of the way, and the ball hit me in my elbow right on my funny bone. Oh, and it makes your hand into a claw, and you lose total feeling for a long time. It's just really getting hit is where you get hit. You know, if you get hit in the thigh or the back or something, and not nearly as bad as a tricep or the elbow and the hand is really the worst.
There's Nick Swisher. He has 4 home runs. He did not hit his 4th home run last year until his 39th game. And he becomes a very important player for the Yankees with the injury to Xavier Nady, who was placed on the DL. Yankees brought up another pitcher, David Robertson. So they're carrying 13, and now they have 4 outfielders. The one backup outfielder is Melky Cabrera. The 0-1. There's a strike. I talked to Nick, or I talked to Xavier Nady last night getting off the plane, and he was very down. And he said, I can't believe it. He said it was a nothing throw. He said, just a nothing throw, and it just exploded. And I said, I'm really sorry. He goes, well, I'll be around. He goes, you know what? Can you guys use another guy in the booth? Because I got nothing to do for the rest of the year.
Everybody's trying to kick me out of here.
That is a shame. I mean, the Yankees were counting on him for big things this year. Look at him. Well, Cliff Lee certainly getting the Yankees' attention. First hitting to Sharon, then coming in close to Nick Swisher. Although Swisher the other day, Matt Garza came in tight on him, and Swisher went deep in the same at-bat. That's the way to answer.
That's the way you draw it up as a hitter. It doesn't always work out.
No, it doesn't.
Count 2-2. What a difference a year makes. Cliff Lee last year in his first 7 starts allowed 5 runs and 4 walks. And he's 0-2 with a 9.00 ERA right now.
One thing that's happened to Cleveland in the early going here, I mentioned they've gotten off to a slow start. They're 2-7. They've been playing from behind just about all season long. The opposition always seems to score first against the Indians at this point in the season. Ooh, good start.
Well, we told you the first home run hit in 1923 was off the bat of Babe Ruth. And Nick Swisher was trying to get the first home run here at the new Yankee Stadium. Big cut. Just missed. And in 1976, when it was renovated, Dan Ford, Disco Dan Ford, former teammate of yours, hit the first home run for the Minnesota Twins in that game.
They danced all the way around the bases up there.
I was going to say, Ken, it was your basic 2 strikes swing.
Yes, it was.
There, wasn't it?
2-2. Driven the other way and out of play. Now, Paul, you got introduced with 46 Yankee old-timers, and you got a pretty good hand. So what was that like out there?
You know, it was really weird, and I don't know if you noticed it too, but once you're out there, it's real familiar. I don't know if it's the colors or the way it looked a lot the same down on the field, and until you look to center field because of the concrete and stuff. But there was something about looking towards the plate and the colors on the grass that reminded me a lot of the old stadium. But of course, your voice is ringing around there.
Brought it all back, right?
That's immediately.
Now, Paul, did you see your banner in the Great Hall?
No, I did. I did.
Wait till you see it.
That is pretty, my son saw it. It's pretty cool. Look at that jacket. Those jackets are big league, too.
You know what's the best thing, though, Paul? You got so spooked by not being let in the clubhouse during the Cup Series. You were wearing your pass on the field.
On the field, they already got it. They denied me again today. I didn't realize there's time frames here, too. I don't want to miss my car service. If we're late to the park, we don't get to come.
There's a fly ball center field. Sizemore is right there. There's a runner's retreat.
That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat, so Nick Swisher did his best to wear out Cliff Lee. Hit that one off the end a little bit.
18 pitches for Lee so far, 11 strikes, and that'll bring up Jorge Posada.
I had mentioned Jorge is a 5-time All-Star. Hit .280 at the old Yankee Stadium. Now he has a chance to forge new memories over here at the brand new ballpark.
Good start to his season with 9 ribbies, and the shoulder is fine. That's the biggest concern for the Yankees, and the shoulder has been fine. And there's a strike. Damon's at second. He got the first base hit here at the ballpark. Mark Teixeira got hit for the first time by any player at the ballpark. He's at first. 2 men out. We're in the bottom of the first inning, just underway here in the Bronx. And the count 1-1. Jorge this year 4 for 7. That's 571 with runners in scoring position. Foul back.
Well, one thing that I noticed, the Yankees on the tail end of the road trip, they started to get hits when they really needed them. Big hits at the right time. Of course, Derek Jeter with a single in last night's game, or yesterday afternoon's game down at Tampa Bay, and then the home run of the 9th inning the day before that. That's a trend you would like to see continue.
The 1-2. Grounded foul. Well, there's not a seat to be had here in the ballpark, and the nation's media is actually here, and we were on the field before the game, and it was almost unanimous, the praise of this ballpark, how beautiful it is and how they got it right. And it does look just wonderful on a gorgeous day, and every ballpark looks better when it's full. So just a great tableau for baseball. 1-2. Broken back, ground ball to first base. Victor Martinez will take it himself, and that will do it. So Jorge Posada breaks his bat. Babe Ruth did not break that bat. He hit a home run the first game back in 1923. A classic bat made its way across the street by way of Cooperstown. And Babe Ruth Plaza is right outside the stadium. A lot of history, even in this new ballpark. Upcoming schedule. 3 more games against the Indians tomorrow at 1 o'clock on Yes. Saturday, we turn it over to Fox for one game at 3:40 start. Sunday, also 1 o'clock, and again on Yes. Then the A's come to town Monday night at 7 on Yes. Tuesday night at 7 on My 9. And then Wednesday, another afternoon game at 1 o'clock, also on the Yes Network. The Great Hall, one of the great attractions here at this new ballpark. A gathering spot for fans. 31,000 square feet, much of it covering the history of this 26-time world champion franchise. That one is ripped to left field. Johnny Damon right there. And he retires Johnny Peralta. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the second. Hey, stay tuned during the 6th inning for a message from our friends at the Fox Business Network.
Just looking at the banners in the Great Hall there. Some of the greatest Yankees of all time. A lot of history. But just and throughout the concourses here, a lot of pictures from days gone by too that bring back memories for many fans, young and old.
Michael and I went over that in the exhibition game on, just the collage of pictures, and I mean just how it brings you back to baseball back in the 50s and the 20s, and I mean that is so neat to see around. I mean, you bring in a new ballpark, great, but you also brought in all these memories, and that's so important here in New York because the fans are generations long. It's just not an overnight thing.
Shin-Soo Choo works the count to 2-0.
Choo played for Korea in the South Korea, the WBC, and last year he was on the disabled list to begin the season. He had a great second half of the season. Drove in 48 runs in 58 games to end the year.
Sabathia tries to come inside. Sabathia obviously made his legend with the Indians, 106 and 71, 3.83 ERA. That's a shot of gate 2, the front gate. Check that, gate 4 here at the new stadium. There's a strike.
It's going to be a while before you find your way around here. I was walking around today. I needed a guide, And just, I didn't see everything.
I tell you what, every once in a while you turn around and you wonder,
where am I?
Where in the heck am I?
That happens a lot of places for me.
3-1. There's a strike count, 3-2. A lot of those pictures from the Daily News archives, they spent months digging up these pictures, some never before seen, and called the Glory of the Yankees photo collection. It took 8 months for them to choose 2,000 photos, and they're all around the ballpark. High pop up and out of play.
I mean, that video board in center field, I had heard it was like half the size of Delaware. I believe it now.
I think the actual measurement is half the size of Texas.
Yeah.
59 feet by 101 feet. There's 1,400 high-definition monitors around the ballpark. Paul has a replica of that scoreboard in his family room in Ohio.
With all these stats and stuff you're throwing up, you just got all these things off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head.
You brought those to the ballpark with you today?
Absolutely.
I thought those voices in your ears kind of helped you out on this. I was just wondering.
The 3-2. Tries to pull an outside pitch and grounds one softly to Cano. 2 away.
Sabathia going to a 3-2 breaking ball. He's got a lot of weapons out there on the mound. He's got a good changeup. He's got the powerful fastball in the mid-90s. And he goes to a breaking ball here, 3-2. He made Chu reach for it and just trying to roll over on it, roll the nice soft grounder to center.
That just shows you, I mean, if you look at that pitch, location-wise, I mean, it ended up on the outside part of the plate, but it wasn't a great pitch. I mean, it was a pitch that was hittable, but on a 3-2 pitch as a hitter, the last thing on your mind is a 3-2, curveball from Sabathia. So sometimes if you fool the hitter, you don't have to make your best pitch to get him out.
Ben Francisco takes a strike. Here's that last pitch.
Ideally, you'd want that ball down in here, and you see that ball ended up on the outside part of the corner, but a place that you can hit it as a left-hander. So that's not his best curveball, but again, 3-2, it was good enough.
Followed 2 fastballs that he fouled off.
Sabathia last year, lefties hit 205 against him, righties hit 247. The 1-1. Foul back, the count 1-2.
Now, Ben Francisco was a rookie a season ago with the Cleveland Indians, and he led all rookies in doubles with 32. The Indians feel he's going to be a good young player. He's got some talent. Played a couple years out of West Coast at UCLA. He was a teammate of Ryan Garco's. He's his teammate now.
Line drive down the left field line. That is a base hit. It's going to go up against the wall. Damon plays it out there. And Ben Francisco gets the first extra base hit here in the ballpark, the 2-out double.
Again, if you look at this is a good pitch. This is a fastball in off the plate. But I'm telling you what, the Cleveland Indians, I noticed last year, are just a dead fastball hitting team. And, they've got guys that can handle Sabathia's fastball. Even right there, he brings his hands in, quickens his bat up. I mean, that's just not a serve out to left field. He actually turned on that ball. Pretty good pitch.
His first 2-base hit of the season, so he's filled that column.
Here's Kelly Shopik. And there's a breaking ball strike.
Shopik kind of took over the role as a catcher last year. Victor Martinez was injured, had to go on the DL. Eventually had surgery on an elbow, and that's why Victor Martinez is playing first base now. More than he will catch. Shopik took over and showed some power.
If you look at it, Martinez probably their best all-around hitter. I mean, he does so many things at the plate, but he had some problems throwing guys out. And Wedge, an ex-catcher, wants defensive. Shopik's done a good job handling pitchers. You've got to keep Martinez in the game as many games as you can because of his offensive skills.
The 1-1. Inside 2-1. Joel Skinner, former Yankee, is the third base coach here for the Indians, and he looked around the place. He said, you know what I like about this place? He said, it's like you had an old car and you went in and got it detailed and got it reupholstered. He said, it still feels like Yankee Stadium, just newer.
It's a good analogy.
It's an expensive detail.
The 2-1. Count 3-1. There's the foul screen down the right field line, connected to the foul pole.
We've already hit the foul pole twice in that Cubs exhibition series, right?
Yep. 3-1. And Shoppach walks. Foul poles are 90 feet high here at the stadium.
It's like running from home to first. But I bet you it's a lot harder straight up.
Yeah.
The frieze, or some call it the facade, almost 135 feet above the stadium. And that's where the original frieze was located in the old ballpark. And then they moved it over the scoreboard in the outfield. And the guy who suggested they move it over the scoreboard in the outfield, because he saw the plans and said, well, he told George Steinbrenner, the Yankee owner, well, you don't have the facade. Cary Grant. And so they couldn't put it over the grandstand in the new ballpark. It just couldn't support it, the structure, so then they decided to put it over the outfield scoreboard. So they have Cary Grant to thank for keeping that alive. I'd say, what, 60% of our audience has no idea who Cary Grant is. I think O'Neill's struggling with it.
Yeah, I was still stuck on the freeze. That's what got me confused.
So Cary Grant suggested this?
There's the old freeze.
Of course, Hollywood actor. Comedic actor, wasn't it?
I think so. Pretty.
Well, some of his stuff he did.
Yeah, he did
fun.
everything.
Yeah.
He was kind of the Tom Hanks of his generation.
Yeah, all right. I'll give you that.
His famous line was Judy, Judy, Judy. The 0-2. Foul back as Sabathia battling Graffinino.
Graffinino was signed as to a minor league contract and made the ball club in spring training. Of course, he's been around, but he's a good utility player. Gets a start this afternoon, 1 for 7 on the season.
Here's a guy that's been with a lot of teams. Yeah, this guy has been around, just kind of fills a void, being able to play a lot of different positions.
Swung on and missed. He got him. He wins the battle. So CC works out of his first jam here at the stadium. No runs a hit, no errors, 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the second. There's no score in the Bronx. Opening day 2007, Bobby Murcer returned to the stadium after undergoing brain surgery. Got a huge ovation from the crowd, and it was his goal to make it here to the new Yankee Stadium. So, Bobby, your uniform's here, your book is here. You made it, buddy. You made it to the new stadium. I know that this was a goal of his that he wasn't able to reach. He passed away last year, our colleague, our friend. We love him, and you know that he's here in spirit for sure. So here you go, Bobby. You're in the booth with us, and we're thinking of you. And, you know, guys, he would have loved to have been here. This was something that he was really looking forward to.
Yeah, Bobby had talked about it several times about wanting to make it across the street to the new ballpark. And, you know, Bobby, memories will live on, certainly with us and those who had a chance to watch him as a player with the Yankees in all those years, and, of course, all the years up here in the booth. And we do miss him.
We go to the bottom of the second inning. Robinson Cano leads off against Cliff Lee. And the pitch outside, 1-0. Lee 3-3, 5.62 in 7 starts against the Yankees career. Hot shot, base hit to right field. So Cano with a leadoff single here in the second.
Cano's been on fire in the early going. You like to see that. He was hot in September. Comes out and looks like he's going to have a good April. This base hit extends a hitting streak to 5 consecutive games. Pitch in the middle of the plate, and Cano is all over it. He's all over anything towards the middle of the plate in the early going.
Yeah, and if you think about one person that really wants to prove people wrong, it's Robinson Cano. To come back and, you know, be the hitter that he's supposed to be. It was a frustrating year for him last year, probably almost to the point where he was almost embarrassed about it. And he's that good of a player where he could turn this thing around and be a very productive hitter this year.
Here's Hideki Matsui, and a shattered bat, soft ground ball to Martinez at first. He'll step on the bag, and Cano goes to second. Well, this moment in Yankees history sponsored by Mercedes. Yankee Stadium, April 18th, 1923. The original one. That's when it opened. The Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-1 in the opener. Babe Ruth hit the stadium's first home run. They had a flyover at that game as well. And the place was jammed. The Bambino built the place. It was always known as the house that Ruth built. An announced crowd of 74,000 at that game. And they later changed it to 60 because 74,000 was against the fire laws. And they overestimated it. So it was about 60,000 that jammed the ballpark that day.
Well, the flyover wasn't quite as fast as today, is it? And, of course, that was well before Yes.
No HD, no nothing.
No,
see those old pictures?
And the game took 2 hours and 3 minutes. That's a Paul O'Neill special. That would have made you happy. Your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers on the web at searchmercedes.com.
A chance for Cody Ransom with a runner in scoring position here. He's gotten off to somewhat of a slow start. But one thing I saw the other night, hit a ball to the opposite field. Looked like he got a little pull happy in the early going here. There's a lot of hits on the other side of second base.
Right, it's just going to be a tough time for him because now you're starting to see media picking up, you know, how close A-Rod is, and you know, all these things start creeping in. And then as a player, you start trying to rush things, try to force some stats in before you know A-Rod gets back, and then it kind of compounds things. Did you get your first start by somebody getting injured, or did you make the team out of spring training?
Oh. No, I got called up in June from the minor leagues, and I kind of forced my way because I was hitting close to 400. So they had
a good chance.
Yeah, they had to bring me up.
Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Get every MLB game in HD this season with DirecTV. So no one was hurt, Paul. He was just hurting the baseball. That's how he got up. Somebody get hurt when you got in?
Not well. Yeah, Tracy Jones got hurt. It was platooning with me. That's how I got to play every day. But I was platooning at the time.
So you never gave it back, huh?
Well,
yeah.
it's not much fun. Platooning's not fun.
No.
It's an opportunity, but it's not fun because there's too many nights where you feel like playing and you're just
watching
on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're platooning, the left side's the way to platoon.
Oh,
since
you
they're
get more
right-handers.
at-bats. Yeah, absolutely.
Switch hitting's pretty good.
Yeah. See that? You guys were spoiled.
Ooh.
3-2 to Ransom. Well, those are the bleachers out there, and there's a familiar head. David Wells bought a ticket to the bleachers. Boomer got a nice hand when he was introduced before the game. You better get some sunscreen on that head today.
Little Mako. He's got a glare working on his thing.
3-2. And Ransom chases a high fastball 2 away.
Sometimes you get the 3-2, you expect a fastball, you get it, and you just start swinging. And you don't really zone it in. Boomer enjoyed an afternoon in the bleachers.
Well, all 3 men who pitched perfect games at the old stadium, they are here. David Cohn was on our pregame show, also introduced. David Wells and Don Larson was here.
All right, so you do a lineup, right? You got somebody that says, I've never seen a baseball game, and we're going to show you a lineup of 3 people. They all pitch perfect. They would never pick Boomer out of that lineup, would they? Huh?
Pitch to Brett Gardner is a strike. Now, before the game, Don Larson and Yogi Berra stole some dirt from the new mound. And they had done that in the final night.
That's Whitey Ford. Yeah.
And Don Larson.
What, they expecting a new stadium?
Count 1-1. Gardner got a couple of big hits in the Tuesday win the Yankees had over the Rays. Popped up. Drifting back Peralta. And he'll make the play for the final out of the second. So the leadoff single by Cano is wasted. No runs a hit. And 1 man left. Let's go to the 3rd inning. There's no score here in the Bronx. Ballpark is the Great Hall. So we thought, well, who are 2 great people that we know to have in the Great Hall? And we said Kimberly Jones and John Flaherty. 2 great people, guys.
Well, we are having a blast out here in the Great Hall, John, aren't we?
We are. We're having a great time. The fans are excited about opening day, and a great place to meet your friends before you go into the game.
A great concourse, a meeting place for fans. Almost a gateway into the stadium is this Great Hall. 31,000 square feet between gates 4 and 6. And when you come here, you have to check out the banners, John. We're among baseball royalty. Mickey Mantle ahead of us. Dave Winfield's in the stadium today. His banner is also right behind us. A few banners back, Paul O'Neill.
Our buddy Paul O'Neill jumps out at you, but I got to tell you, Kim, Thurman Munson is the guy. If I'm going to meet some friends here and go to a ball game, I'm meeting underneath Thurman Munson.
Typical catcher talk. Yogi's there as well. There are ribbon boards in case you get lost, and that video screen makes you want to buy a huge flat screen.
That video screen reminds me of my basement, Kim, in Rockland County with the big screen, the theater. It's amazing. You're not going to miss a pitch here at Yankee Stadium when you're in the Great Hall.
Hearing that, Michael, I want to go to John's basement. Back to you.
We're all never invited. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, John, as well. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Now, we just want to remind everybody that Kim, John, David Cohn, Bob Laurent, Nancy Newman, they're all going to be back on the post-game show. We have everything covered today, so stick around after the game. It's not over after the last pitch. Stick around for the WB Mason post-game show, and we'll get you caught up with everything that happened today First day of the new ballpark here in the Bronx. The 1-2 is inside 2-2.
It's got to be a thrill for this young man at the plate, Trevor Crowe. He's a rookie for the Cleveland Indians. His first-round draft pick in 2005 out of University of Arizona.
The Modell scoreboard. No score as we head to the third. The 2-2 to Crowe. Taps softly to first base. And Teixeira takes it. The Modell's scoreboard brought to you by Modell's, the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. You know, we mentioned WB Mason, and they're the sponsor of our post-game show and also the Joe Girardi show and a lot of things on the Yes Network. And so many of the people from WB Mason, they're in a booth a couple of doors down from us, and we want to thank them for the support of the Yes Network. Great people at WB Mason. Here's Grady Sizemore. And the pitch is low, 1-0. Sizemore grounded out to first. That was in the first.
One of the young stars of the American League, Grady Sizemore.
How about this for a stat? Grady Sizemore is one of only 3 players in Major League history to have 100 walks, 50 doubles, 30 homers, and 30 steals in a season. You have any idea who the other 2 guys are? You know them, you love them. They used to wear pinstripes.
Lou Gehrig.
No. Much more recent.
Oh. Give me the stats again.
Yeah, I need those 2.
All right, the stats are 100 walks, 50 doubles, 30 homers, and 30 steals.
Was Ricky one of them?
Nope.
Cheats never hit 30 home runs.
The 50 doubles is the one.
I'll give you a clue. One of them is still a Yankee. And one of them was a Yankee last year.
Oh, A-Rod?
A-Rod and Abreu.
Abreu?
Yeah.
Wow, that is surprising.
And the 3-1. Sizemore walks. So a 1-out walk. Sizemore a threat to steal.
So far, he's stolen twice this year without being caught. He was a heck of a football player in high school. There was talk about him going to several different universities. I believe Washington was one of them. Clemson was another. People lining up, knocking on his door. And
Come Monday morning, he's probably real glad he's playing baseball.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I think I'll sign with the Montreal Expos instead. The Indians got him in a trade. It was a heck of a deal for Cleveland.
The Bartolo Colon deal.
Yeah.
The Expos were trying to make that one run while they were still in Montreal. And Omar Minaya was a GM and made that deal. And it was a great deal for the Indians. And the Expos didn't make the playoffs with the addition of Colon.
It's like they were trying to save the franchise.
Yeah.
In Montreal. Because at that time, you could see it slipping away. You could see that they weren't going to be in Montreal much longer unless they had a big winning season. And they went out and got Bartolo Colon, actually won 10 games for him. And he had won 10 for Cleveland. He was a 20-game winner. But 10, leagues. Yeah, in both leagues.
Count 2-0. DeRosa is one of 3 Indians that Sabathia has actually faced. And he's 2 for 10 against CC.
Cleveland got DeRosa from the Cubs for 3 minor leaguers over the winter. New Year's Eve, he was traded.
Count 3-0. Sabathia has lost the plate a little bit in this inning, in the count 3-0. Sabathia with the Indians 8 seasons. Won the Cy Young in 07. 3-time All-Star. You see what he did winning-wise. 1,265 strikeouts. 5th in franchise history. There is not a person that's involved with the Indians that has a bad thing to say about CC Sabathia. They all rave about the type of person he is, the type of player he was. It's obvious. They were sad to see him go. They just knew that with the dearth of pitching in Major League Baseball, if he hit the free agent market, they would not be able to afford him. So they ended up trading him to the Brewers. He was great with them, and he ends up signing with the Yankees. Runner goes. Pitch is low, so a walk to DeRosa. And the Indians have runners on first and second on the third walk by CC Sabathia.
Now you get into the heavy hitters in the Cleveland lineup. You can see Sizemore taking off. He takes a glance, slides in, but it was ball 4 to Mark DeRosa.
There's Victor Martinez.
Cleveland really missed him last year. I mean, one of the better switch hitters in the league.
If you see Martinez, isn't it?
Yeah, he didn't like that call.
Well, I mean, he's lost the plate a little bit. He just walked the guy before you. You're the RBI guy, but then you get a borderline pitch called a strike one. Kind of frustrating.
Might have been a tad low.
Tad? It'd be real low if you were hitting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very low.
Fly ball down the right field line. Long run for Swisher. And it'll make the seats and then bounces back out.
Yeah, it's one of those pitches where you turn to the umpire and say, he doesn't need any help, please.
Exactly.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. Along with Paul O'Neill and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball. First game here at Yankee Stadium on the Yes Network. We thank you for spending part of your Thursday afternoon with us. The 0-2 inside 1-2.
Well, I guess we're even then. There's 2 borderline pitches. He got one.
They never even up, especially with men on base.
That ball came inside. You know, the one guy who says they always even up was out on the field today, and Jim Cott. You know, he got it from a pitcher's standpoint, you know.
Runners go. The 1-2 popped up. Shallow left. They could get a double play. At first base, they definitely can. The throw by Jeter got him. So the Indians tried to force the issue, and Victor Martinez pops into a 6-3 double play. A big break for the Yankees. With the runners going, Jeter drifts back, makes the catch in short left field, and then the throw to Mark Teixeira on one hop. The 6-3 double play as Sabathia gets out of trouble. No runs, no hits, no errors. And because of this DP, 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the third. There's no score. At Mohegan Sun, you'll find a million different ways to play with something for everyone. Visit MoheganSun.com for more information. Speaking of visiting, let's visit the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar, and Bob Lorenz is out there. Bob? Having some technical difficulties with Bob's mic out there. We'll rejoin him in a moment.
Is that what you call them?
That's what we call them. Gremlins. Derek Jeter at the plate. And the count 0-1.
You know, there's certain teams that you hit well against, other teams maybe not as well. Derek's always hit well against Cleveland. 345 in his career against Cleveland. And I think he's only hit better against one other team. That's Detroit. So,
good memory.
Yeah.
That's where it all started for him in 1996 in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right. Didn't he hit a homer on opening day?
Dennis Martinez.
Yeah, El Presidente. Took him deep. Brand name.
Was that the year we got snowed out and then played 2 days later, or was that just a normal opening day?
I believe that was a normal opening day. And I think it was also the day that Jeter made one of those patented over-the-shoulder plays in left field. 2-2. Well, we have battled the Gremlins, Paul. We've battled them. Let's see if we can hear from Bob at the Mohegan Sun Bar out there in center field. What's up, Bob?
Oh, Michael, you know what? It's a conspiracy. Jones and Flaherty get a clean audio shot out. You know, one of those two. I don't know. Blog about that, Jones. Yeah. Anyway, I'm at the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar. Look over my shoulder. You get a clean view of the action here. But the great thing about this place, besides eating and drinking, is not only the view out, it's the view up. If you take a look up, they have these replica baseball cards. You're looking at Ron Guidry right now. They got everybody. Billy Martin, Lou Gehrig. But here's the thing. Gators up there. There is no Gator on the menu, Michael. That's probably a good thing. But here's what I'm going to do is I send it back to you. I don't have anything to do till the 7th inning cut-in. I'm going to order some New York pretzels with beer cheese fondue, some truffle fries, a little spicy rock prawn. How about the ahi tuna niçoise? And to wrap it all up, the braised prime pork po' boy. So that's what I'm going to do. And when people say, hey, Bob, did you get a souvenir from opening day? I'm going to say, yeah, I got fat. And I'm going to enjoy every minute of it.
You know, Bob's at the Mohegan Sun Sports Bar out there in center field. If you saw O'Neill right now, he's got drool coming down his lip. Let's see if they can turn two here. There's one, no return throw. And the ball was dropped by Peralta on the transfer. So Jeter had reached on the infield single, and then Johnny Damon reaches on the fielder's choice.
Well, he said he had nothing to do till about the 7th inning. You see the replay here. Johnny Damon kind of hooks it down the line, gets out in front. But in the transition, we get... I always wondered if, you know, it's always in the transition. But it looks like he did have that ball. I was going to try to throw to first.
Yeah, there you go. Johnny Peralta. You know, sometimes infielders try to get a little too quick with their hands. They don't get a good grip on the ball.
High fly ball, right center. Sizemore is there. 2 outs. Now the look at the Modell's scoreboard here, and the bottom of the 3rd inning, there's no score, and Modell's is the official sporting goods retailer of the Yankees. Here's Nick Swisher. Nick flew out to center field. That was in the 1st inning. The Yankees have had their chances. 2 innings they've had runners in scoring position, haven't been able to get it done. They've left 3 runners on base. Runner at first base now with 2 outs. It's such a great thing when people first come to New York and they really, I mean, if you're a visiting player, you pretty much know the Grand Hyatt on 42nd Street. People don't really get around. So everybody was on the bus last night, and Nick Swisher goes, I have to go the 50s on the west side. How do I get there? And I told him, and then CC's about, he goes, that's near Times Square, right? I said, no, that's 42nd. That's not the 50s. So, I mean, they're still learning what New York is all about. 2 Yankee newbies, the 1-0.
I'll tell you, though, that it's hard to get lost in the city because the streets, the numbers. You just follow the numbers.
Yeah. But every once in a while, you think you got it all figured out, and then they throw like a Madison Avenue and a park and all these things, then you're all messed up again.
And once you get down to the lower part of Manhattan, the Village, and then it's a mess. Names, you have no idea how to get there. Line drive, base hit, down the left field line. cutting over his Crow. Cuts the ball up before it gets to the wall. Swisher's at second with a double. Moving to third is Damon. Yankees second and third with 2 men out for Posada.
Swisher, one of the hot hitters for the Yankees. Again, you see this ball. I mean, that's right in anybody's wheelhouse right there. When you're a hot hitter, Kenny, it just seems like you always get good pitches to hit and you don't miss them. Hooks this ball down the left field line. Kind of sets up an inning to try to score some runs. Now, these are the outs that you look back. You see Swisher. He's one of those guys that kind of shows his emotions. If you're playing bad, these are the outs you can't get. You got runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and if you're playing good, these are the times where you end up scoring runs. So, you know, Cleveland's kind of in a tough spot, getting off to a tough start. They're their #1 starters out there. This is a big game for them.
That was Swisher's team leading a 5th double.
So a chance for the Yankees to take the lead. The 0-1 to Posada is inside 1-1. What street is that?
Well, I know the Empire State Building's on 34th Street.
That's right.
Yeah. Central
Park there.
I keep peeking over. I keep peeking over at your monitor. Look how clear yours is. I got this. I'm a little hazy here.
Boy, is that a mouthful?
Well, we'll leave that alone.
Well, the city is great today. It's a perfect day weather-wise. Couldn't ask for a better day to open up this ballpark. And if you're not at the ballpark, it's a great day in Manhattan. Outstanding. The 2-1. Another shattered bat and a ground ball second. And that'll do it. So Posada has left 4 runners on base in this game. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 left. Third of the way through, there's no score. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Firestone, a tradition of innovation, and by Acura. Acura, advance. O'Neal, we got a special guest in the booth, but just like in the old days, he's on your right. He used to play right field. The guy in center field was a man named Bernie Williams, and he joins us here in the Yes Network booth as we go to the 4th inning. The pitch is upstairs. Bernie, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
It's a great day for baseball game. Absolutely outstanding.
You know, you played a rendition off your new album of Take Me Out to the Ball Game in center field before the game, before everybody was introduced. And I kind of like it because you played center field before anybody else then.
That was amazing. That's the stuff that dreams are made of. definitely. To be out there in center field, instead of a glove with a guitar, playing, take me out to the ball game. I mean, it was just incredible.
You get nervous out there playing the guitar like you were playing a game?
I would get very nervous out there.
Because, I mean, when you're going to play a game, you could go out basically, you could screw it up, you could lose it. I mean, can you miss notes and stuff when you get nervous?
Yes, you can miss notes, man. You get really nervous. But it was a very special situation because I was just pumped up. I wanted to play live. I wanted to play for the fans. And, they were great supportive.
All that practicing in the old clubhouse paid off.
Yes. Thanks for bringing your drummer along, Bernie. I'm up here eating hot dogs with Michael. You're out in front of 50,000.
I remember those days hanging out in the paint room, jamming out before practice. Rain delays. Yeah, remember those times.
Johnny Peralta serves one down the right field line. It's a fair ball, goes into the corner. Swisher will get the ball in, so Peralta leads off the fourth inning with a double. Bernie, what do you think of the new place? Obviously, you got a chance to look at it. I think you broke in the Hard Rock Cafe before it opened, but you were standing on the field. How's it look to you?
Looks great. It resembles a little bit of the old Yankee Stadium. I think they try to do try to resemble the dimensions and everything. It feels right. Feels right.
You see Peralta again. I mean, this is a dead fastball hitting team. I mean, that ball is out over the plate, and these guys can handle even Sabathia's fastball. They can handle fastballs.
That shows you the importance of getting a hit on counts, though, because then you have a little doubt in the hitter's mind. Look out.
Chin Soo Choo takes a pitch high. Want to know? Tell us about the new album. When's it coming out? When's it officially out?
The album just came out on Tuesday.
Okay.
And it's going to be, it's basically focusing on the concert that we're going to have at the Nokia Theater in Times Square this Saturday, the 18th, and starts at 9 o'clock, and very excited about that.
And the album's name is?
The album's name is Moving Forward.
And is that what Bernie Williams is doing?
I am moving somewhere.
Bernie's always going somewhere, just didn't know where he's going.
Exactly right. No, I'm what's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you?
You know what's cool now, Michael? We could do this. We don't even have to hit the SAP button. Bernie can just go Spanish course and everything.
Do a little Espanol.
Swing and a miss. Count 2-1. Is there a part of you, Bernie, that still misses being out there?
Well, I think every part of me misses being out there. Yeah. There's not a lot of things that I can equate to the rush of being a Major League Baseball player. And not only a Major League Baseball player, a player for the New York Yankees for all these years. I mean, there's not a lot of things that I can compare to that.
See Bernie's resume there. Count 2-1. Fouled away. Can we get that up one more time? Bernie, I want you to look at this. It's almost like looking at your report card before your parents. That's a pretty nice report card you had there for a career.
I'm looking at the picture. It's a skinnier version of me.
What's the biggest thing for you there? The World Championships?
Yeah, as a team, certainly. And definitely the batting title as well.
On what many people consider the greatest team of all time, 125-50, the 98 championship team. The 2-2. Ground ball to second base. He does his job. He moves the runner over. There's one down as Peralta moves to third.
I think one thing that, as Bernie pointed out, when you're on championship teams, that's why you go out there to win championships and win titles. And that's your thought. But there are individual aspects of this game that after you're through playing and you've got those World Series rings and you look back, well, I really helped them that year because I won the batting title.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. When you're in the middle of the season, you're not really thinking about individual achievements. You're always thinking about playing, doing your job, to help the team. But then I have an opportunity to sit back now and enjoy all those years, those were great.
When you're on bad teams, though, they have the way you're going for yourself.
Infield is in with Francisco up, and the pitch is swung on a miss. Time for the New York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. Let's take a look at the quiz here in the top of the fourth inning. Babe Ruth hit the first home run at Yankee Stadium in 1923. Who hit the last home run last year? You know that one? Don't tell.
No,
You're not allowed to guess.
No guessing.
Kills the game for everybody.
Bernie, that's impressive because I've done this 7 years now, Michael. I haven't got a question right yet.
Not one.
He comes up here for one day.
I may get it wrong.
You probably got a cheat sheet over there or something. You probably got the answer.
The only question that O'Neill has a quick answer to is, would you like us to get you something to eat? Yes.
It should be on the way. It's a little delayed. He got caught in security with my pizza down there.
Grounded, and a diving step by Ransom. Comes home. He is out. Oh, what a play by Ransom. And a great tag by Posada.
Now one of the best plays of the early season, turned in by Cody Ransom and Jorge Posada. First of all, Ransom taking an extra base hit from Ben Francisco, diving, and then from his knees, making an accurate throw to Jorge Posada, who applies the tag on Johnny Peralta, and Tom Hallion, home plate umpire, with the emphatic call.
You know, the important thing right there is he got rid of the ball quick enough. Get the ball to Jorge where he has time to do what he needs to do at the plate.
Peralta might have gotten his hand underneath the shin guard of Posada, who blocked the plate nicely. Kelly Shopik fouls away. That's just an outstanding play. Let's look at it from up top, how it looked like it was ticketed for left field. And from his knees, very accurate throw, and a great tag and a block by Posada.
Yeah, Posada did a good job of blocking the plate. Peralta could only get in there with his hand, and you can see Posada stick the knee out there, and the hand never touched home plate.
Bernie, you would have gone barreling in, right? Not head first.
Oh, man, that was a dangerous slide. I think he hurt his hand in that play.
Really, his fingers look like they ended up right underneath the shin guard with Posada's total weight on it. So to count 1-2 here on Kelly Shopik. Bernie Williams has stopped by visiting us here in the booth. He played Take Me Out to the Ball Game before the game in center field. A great rendition, which is also on his album Moving Forward, which is out in stores right now. Let's plug that concert one more time. The Nokia Theater in Manhattan.
Nokia Theater in Manhattan, 44th and Broadway. April 18th, Saturday at 9 o'clock.
And we're going to have that concert airing on May 5th on the YesNet. So if you can't get in and the place is jammed, you'll be able to see Bernie on May 5th.
You comping us, Bernie? You getting us in the show?
Well, I was hoping that you could join me in a little jam session afterwards.
That one is driven out to left field. Johnny Damon back, still back, still back. He's going to have to play it off the wall. Rounding third is Francisco. They're sending him home. Here's the throw. No throw as Jeter holds on to the relay. And Francisco scores on the double by Shopik. The first run scored here at the new Yankee Stadium, and the Indians lead 1-0.
Kenny, you talked about it earlier, how offensively they're getting some pop out of Shopik's back. And he does so well catching. And this has got to be frustrating for Sabathia to get that big out, get to a point where you can get out of the inning and you leave a fastball up out over the plate.
Didn't miss much of going out of here. Shopik led all catchers in the American League in home runs last year, and only 352 at-bats. So he hits one to the base of the auxiliary scoreboard in left center field, and Johnny Damon plays the carom. But Ben Francisco off with the crack of the bat with 2 outs, scores all the way from first.
There's Tony Grappanino against Sabathia. Pitches inside. Now this stadium geographically faces the same way as the other ballpark. Paul, you were out there. Bernie, you were in center field. Does it look like left field is still a tough sun field?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Looking at, when they were presenting the former players, I took a look from shortstop, and it seemed like the sun was out there, too. It was very tough.
Many people forget this, but Paul O'Neill started his Yankee career as a left fielder because Jesse Barfield was out right. Was it Barfield?
Tartable.
Tartable was out right. That's right.
And, it wasn't long before I made my way to right. It was a lot easier during day games, believe me.
Not as much ground to cover in right either. I used to hate it when they put me in left field here.
I didn't have much ground to cover anyway. Bernie took everything.
Fly ball to center field where Bernie made his living. Bernie, good luck with the album. Great to see you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
That is Bernie Williams. The Indians score a run. They leave one. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 1-0 Indians. Today's question, who will be the first Yankee to play in the new Yankee Stadium and also to have his number retired there? Text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. And here are your choices. Number 1, Derek Jeter. Number 2, Andy Pettitte. Number 3, Jorge Posada. Number 4, Mariano Rivera. So who was, really, if you can figure that out, who would be the first guy to retire? Mariano says 2 more years. Andy Pettitte goes year to year. Posada still has 3 years left on his deal. And Derek Jeter plans to play for a while longer. So it should be interesting to see the first one that goes up on that wall. We'll give you the results a little bit later on. Here's Robinson Cano. Grounded foul. Count 0-1. Look at the scoreboard control room of Mike Bonner. Just unbelievable. It's like the Jetsons have invaded the Bronx. Everything that you could want, you need this kind of room to run the scoreboard out in center field, that's for sure. I think that's the thing that really catches everybody's eye. When you look toward the outfield, that scoreboard is so crystal clear. And in this room, which is just to the right of our booth, that's where they run everything. All that information comes out of that room. And out of that head. Mike Bonner's head. The 1-1.
Oh, my goodness.
Count 1-2, and you never know what's going through that head. Does time kind of melt away, Paul, when you're standing next to Bernie Williams? Does it seem that long ago?
Brings you back.
Right.
It really does. I mean, it's like you should go out and have a catch out in right field and get loose for the next inning, because you don't see Bernie a lot, because I'm in Ohio and he's here, and every once in a while you're in an event or something. But it really does. It brings it back real quick.
Well, the memories that you two forged along with the rest of the Yankees are great. It's going to live with not only you two guys, but the fans in general for years and years to come. I mean, that's passed on from generation to generation. The accomplishments that you two had while you were members of the Yankees. And, something you should be very, very proud of.
Popped up. And Graffinino makes the play. One away. Let's take a look at the New York Smokers Quick Line Quiz trivia answer. Nice shot at the stadium there from left field. Babe Ruth hit the first home run at Yankee Stadium in 1923. Who hit the last home run in 08?
Was it Molina?
Wow!
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Look at you.
Bernie whispered in my ear.
You have started the new ballpark with
for some reason.
Oh, my goodness. There it is. There's the home run. Now, I'm going to give you my own trivia question, which fits in perfectly. Who hit the last home run at the original Yankee Stadium? It was also a catcher. Oh, yeah, I asked it. You know that one, O'Neill?
Yeah. I'm going to give it to you after next inning, all right? Flip, you back there, all right?
Popped up, third base side, foul territory, falls untouched. I'm going to tell you.
Was it Thurman?
No, it was Duke Sims of the Tigers. But I believe he was with the Yankees when he hit it. Duke Sims was on the Yankees back then. And the stadiums last year was 73, and the Yankees played in Shea Stadium in 74 and 75. And the new place opened here on April 15th, 1976.
You know what? I'd heard that before, but Michael knows all that stuff.
It did, yeah.
The noise ball.
If you got, when people know that much, just like trivia, it kind of either they're smart or they basically got nothing else to do. So I'm trying to figure out what.
Oh, it's the nothing else to do. That's the answer, yeah.
Just like he should be continually on Jeopardy. Yeah, knows it all.
One, two, bounced up there. This is Cliff Lee's best start. His first 2 starts, he was dreadful, but he is maybe motivated by the new ballpark, by his team's poor start, but he's had runners on base. The Yankees have been unable to cash in.
Both pitchers, I mean, we've talked a lot because of opening day and all, everything's so new, but I mean, you are watching 2 pitchers, going about their business here. And, both teams have had opportunities to score, neither team has.
Yeah, I know Matsui has struggled in the early going here, but one way to get yourself going is start running deep counts. see as many pitches as you can, get the pitcher in a situation like right now, 3 balls, 2 strikes, where he has to throw you a pretty decent pitch to hit unless he just outwardly paints a corner on you.
3-2. Tried to paint a corner and just missed.
When you start drawing your walks, it means you have your strike zone under control. Then usually you start to hit after that. You know, Matsui came in today hitting 125, but that had the corner, but it might have been a little bit low, so he draws the base on balls.
Kenny, you'll remember that. That pitch right there. You just have that little hesitation where your heart kind of stutters, and you hear ball 4, and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Because there's a little indecision there. Because I mean, that pitch is just too close.
And you know you've been struggling, so anything close to that has always been a strike.
Along with Ken Singleton and Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. We thank you for watching Yankees baseball on the Yes Network. Cody Ransom pops one up to right field. Coming on Francisco, he makes the play for the second out. Now, one of the real neat touches they have at the new ballpark is a throwback to the original Yankee Stadium, the auxiliary scoreboard out in the outfield, and that's the scoreboard made famous in that great photo of Don Larsen's final out of the perfect game. You see the auxiliary scoreboard out there with all those zeros. Yankees won that game 2-0, and that's inside the auxiliary scoreboard. That's going to be O'Neill's job on Saturday because Fox is doing the game, so we have the day off. So O'Neill's going to be working the scoreboard out there. Very serious smile.
Got it.
She heard you.
Here's Brett Gardner, and the pitch is low.
Yankees have had men on base in every inning, including this one. Matsui with the base on balls. In fact, they left 2 men on in 2 innings, the first and the third.
Count 1-1. Majestic shot of this ballpark from our friends at DirecTV. There's a strike.
There's something about a ballpark when it's full, the energy level is way up. And, you know, when you're a player, you like to play in front of the bigger crowds because nobody wants to embarrass himself in front of 50,000 people.
Lee is slowed down with a runner on base. Matsui off first, held there by Martinez. And that was slapped into left field. It is a base hit. Trevor Crowe comes up throwing. So a base hit for Gardner. Matsui moves to second. And for the 3rd inning out of 4, Yankees have 2 runners on.
It's a really good piece of hitting down in the count. As a left-hander, that ball you see was kind of just ended up over the middle of the plate, but didn't try to do too much with it. Slap it to left field, and that's the type of hitter he's going to be. I mean, if he can slap the ball in the gaps use his speed, he's going to be successful.
Yeah, that's the type of hit you used to get with 2 strikes, cut down on your swing a bit, and just take what the pitcher gives you. That was the 3rd time he went in that area during that at bat. So after a while, a hitter, you recognize the pitch a little bit better the second, and certainly even more so the 3rd time around.
The Yankees today are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Here's the captain, Derek Jeter. And that one gets away from Shopik, and both runners move up. Wild pitch.
Looked like the basic fastball in the dirt. They're trying to keep the ball down too much. Shopik got a piece of it, but not enough to keep the runners from moving up.
Fastball outside.
All of a sudden, this becomes a different at bat for Derek because, you know, the first base is open now and he's behind in the count. So as a hitter, you know, you don't want to take away your aggressiveness, but you got to make sure you see strikes here.
What really helped the Yankees out here is that on the wild pitch, Matsui moved to 3rd. I mean, he's not running all that well with a bad knee. So if there was a solid line drive to the outfield for a base hit, might have been tough for him to score. Now he's moved up, and you got Brett Gardner at second, who can score in just about anything.
Jeter so far this season doing the job in this situation, 4 for 5 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
Cliff Lee's got to be careful here with a base open.
2-0. There's a strike.
The slider.
Yeah, count 2-1. Both scoreboards say 3-1. It's 2-1, but it was 3-1, so they're right. And the Yankees have the bases loaded.
I think that once the runners moved up on the wild pitch, he decided that I'm not going to give in to Jeter here, and he's going to go at the left-handed hitting Johnny Damon. Pitch by pitch to Derek Jeter. Here's the wild pitch. Outside ball 2. Ball 3 on a changeup. Comes with a slider just in case he was hitting 3-0. He came back with another, and that's ball 4. So I think he kind of pitched around Derek and tried to work on Johnny Damon. And Johnny already has a hit in this game.
And there's a strike. Johnny with 6 grand slams, great average with the bases loaded. He picked up the first base hit ever here at the stadium, a single center in the first inning. Bases loaded with the Yankees. They're down 1-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th. And that one is popped up toward third, and DeRosa can't get there.
It's not very often you can pop up a ball in front of the third baseman in foul territory.
He got jammed just enough that he couldn't catch it. In on the hand, you can see Johnny. That's more or less looked like a 2-strike emergency swing. And DeRosa couldn't get to it. Maybe the wind's blowing in.
Lee deals the 0-2. Slow roller towards second. Grappanino fires to first, and Cliff Lee wiggles out of trouble again. No runs are hit, no errors, and the bases are left loaded. Yankees have stranded 8 over 4, 1-0 Indians. That is a feature you don't see in many ballparks. as we go to the 5th. Trevor Crow fouls it off, and we are underway, and we are honored to have the commissioner of baseball here in the booth with us on the Lexus scoreboard. It's 1-0 Indians. Bud Selig is with us. Bud, great to see you. How you doing?
Michael, pleasure to see you as always. And Kenny, good to see you too.
Thank you, Mr. Selig.
Thank you. I watch you guys a lot at home when I'm flipping from channel to channel, so I feel right at home here.
Well, we're glad to have you in the booth. So what do you think?
Well, the first day I ever walked in Yankee Stadium was July 30th, 1949. It was my 15th birthday. My mother brought me. I was a Yankee fan. And when I walked in today, and I really mean this, sod, everything about it, I had the same thrill. It was a thrill that I never got over from 1949. And I would tell you, you have to see this. It produces the history. It produces the legacy. I just can't tell you. You look, you can still see the train going by over there. I mean, they've replicated everything with such wonderful detail. I've told everybody with the Yankees, and starting with George, they ought to be very proud today. They've done a magnificent job.
Here's the 0-2. Foul back. Now I'm wondering, you probably had a perception of what it was going to be like. Did it exceed what you thought it was going to be?
I haven't had a chance to walk around, but just from what I've seen, it exceeded it. Yeah, it really did, because it's hard for me to believe, and I've been told it, and you're right, you know, I thought about it, Kenny, I knew that, but they've replicated everything just so brilliantly. It's remarkable.
Yeah, Michael and I grew up in this area, so we went to the old Yankee Stadium as youngsters, and you're right, I still get the feel of the old stadium in here.
No question about it. No question about it. You know, I've read a lot of things, and being the commissioner, I understand that sometimes, you know, there'll be a little controversy and negative things, and I've read what some people have written. I don't agree with it at all. This is a ballpark with remarkable history.
Grounder to Jeter, across the diamond, and there's one away.
And that history and legacy have been preserved, and that was the objective.
Now, this is yet another new venue that we've seen in baseball over the last few years. You're going back to maybe Camden Yards in Baltimore, just magnificent stadiums throughout America. It's growing a game.
Well, I'm proud of. We've now done 22 of them. 22. We're going to open in Minnesota next year. We've finally finished in Florida. Now I'm working to solve the Oakland situation, but this has been an amazing story. It really has been, and this game has never been more popular, and it never been as popular as it is today, and the new stadium certainly helped. And you look out and you see people enjoying things the way they did, the Sunday bleachers today, and it brings back all those memories of the Yankee Stadium that I knew and watched in my youth.
Where'd you sit that day in 47? Do you remember?
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. Third deck down the right field line with my mother. About 10 minutes before they were playing the Cleveland Indians, interestingly enough.
Wow.
And they wheeled a birthday cake out, and it was my 15th birthday. And I said to my mother, because I thought the world revolved around me in those days, how could you do that? It was Casey Stengel's birthday. So my mother and I were sitting up. They were celebrating Casey Stengel's birthday, but we celebrated mine.
2-0 off the foot of Sizemore. You know what, though? I mean, there's nobody with more power than you. You could get that seat today if you want to, recreate that moment.
I may walk up there before the day is over.
We don't know about the cake, though.
Well, I understand that. That's okay. I won't mind.
We are talking with the commissioner of baseball, Mr. Bud Selig. Top of the 5th inning here at the stadium. The Indians lead the Yankees 1-0. The opening of this palace of a ballpark on 161st Street and River Avenue, which is the exact same address as the previous place, just right across the street. And the 2-1 swing and a miss. 2-2. Obviously, it's hard to ignore the economic problems of this country. Are you concerned about the game? Do you think the game can survive this and be healthy?
I do, very much. I'm very proud of the way the clubs have reacted. You know, people talk about ticket prices, and I think the Yankees themselves have been treated somewhat unfairly, because I broke down all the ticket prices of all the seats today, and they are affordable, and the clubs have cut prices in a lot of cases. They have special deals. So I think we've been very sensitive to the economic times that we're living in. I think the sport will draw very well this year. But look, we're like everybody else in this country. There's no question that we're struggling in some places. The game is so popular that I really start the season, I think, with a normal amount of optimism.
I also read the other day that you're going to try to start playoff and World Series games a little earlier.
I'm going to try. I really believe in that. we have a lot of network commitments and things, and we have to be sensitive to our partners. But I really do want to start games early.
Saturday day games? Is it?
Well, the day would be tough, but I hope earlier on a Saturday. I hope we have one day where it is much earlier, frankly.
So Grady Sizemore works a walk, runner on first base, and one man out. That'll bring up Mark DeRosa. Now, I know you're based in Milwaukee. What do you think of your Brewers this year?
Well, they're not mine anymore.
Well, in your heart, they're still your Brewers.
Well, the only person that does that is my wife. I always say I have to be neutral, and she says I'm not neutral, and I'm not going to make a pretense of being. They're off to a very slow start, but they'll be okay. Guys, what I see each division being really competitive this year. You have, like the American League Central. I noticed people picked all 5 teams to win. I mean, there's a difference. You have, the West will certainly be more competitive. You guys have at least 3 teams that in the American League East. The National League East has at least 3 to 4 teams that will be competitive. Same in the National League Central, and the West is wide open. So, from a competitive balance standpoint, I really feel good about where we are. I think it's really going to be good. And
I think in the
you're in the toughest division in baseball. I guess people would acknowledge, and there are no easy marks there anymore. Even Baltimore and Toronto playing much better this year so far.
See Sabathia, 1 pitch away from 90 here in the 5th inning, so his leash is going to be short once it gets to about 100.
I saw him pitch a lot, in Milwaukee last year, and I tell you, he was heroic. He won my undying admiration. He pitched on 3 days rest. He just didn't miss anything. He was
complete games.
Complete games. It was in there.
That's kind of a throwback.
It's a throwback I like. I have to say that. But you bet, it was a great throwback.
We're in the top of the 5th inning. It's 1-0 Indians. Runner on first base. That's Grady Sizemore with 1 out. Mark DeRosa at the plate. A 2-0 count. Sabathia steps off. Did you feel that the WBC was a success?
Oh, great success. I know there are some people that are critical and people worry about injuries, and I do too. If I was still running the Brewers, I do. But if you saw the reaction, guys, in the Japanese-Korean game at the end, or even, I think Derek would tell you that, the USA game, not only when they won in the 9th inning, but when the crowd started chanting on that Sunday, USA, it's made the sport more popular around the world. That's the objective. The objective is to make the sport more popular around the world.
I know
and it did.
Yeah, the postseason is shown in over 200 countries.
No question about it. Oh, it's helping us immeasurably everywhere.
Sabathia sets at the belt. Runner goes, pitches outside. The throw to second. Got him. Good throw by Posada, nailing Grady Sizemore.
Well, if there's any answer that Jorge Posada has to his shoulder surgery, that's the first way to get the respect of the opposition, to start throwing people out, especially when you throw out people like Grady Sizemore, one of the best base stealers in the game. This wasn't a particularly good pitch to throw. He had to reach on the backhand, then come up throwing and made the accurate throw, and the tag by Cano for the out on Sizemore. Good play by Posada.
DeRosa lines a single upfield, so that was a big throw out. Now, I know, Commissioner, that the reason that you became an owner of the Brewers, that you brought the team to Milwaukee, the Seattle Pilots, you love the game. You're in an administrative position now. Can you still love the game? I saw when the throw by Posada, you got excited. You still love the game.
I do. I love the game. The best part of my day is when I go home at night, I can watch a lot of games. You bet. And I said to George Steinbrenner, George and I watched a lot of games together, Brewer-Yankee games. People should have heard what went on in that box. It was really, we had some very emotional moments, but we've had a great friendship. But yes, they're part of it. I miss, Michael. I miss the contact with scouts and managers and coaches, and sometimes when you're the commissioner, you feel isolated. But it's a different kind of job. But the passion, the intensity that you do day after day is there.
I had one question I've always wanted to ask. Do you have a favorite player of all time? Your favorite player?
Well, yeah, I do. Well, let me give you 3 because they're 3 different generations, and Joe DiMaggio, when I was a kid growing up, was my all-time favorite. I really literally grew up with Hank Aaron, and was a friend of mine to this day, and Robin Yount, who very well, played 20 years for me, and he's everything a player and a person should be. So in no particular order, I would give it DiMaggio, Aaron, and Yount.
Those are 3 great ball players, all Hall of Famers. course, I saw Robin when he broke in, 18 years old, playing shortstop for the Brewers.
Never forget it. 1974. 73, I'm sorry. 73.
By the time I
signed him in 73 and he played in 74.
Amazing to come up at what, 18 years old, was
right.
he? Yeah.
You know, you talk about the passion of the game and the intensity, Michael. Ken Singleton killed the Brewers, and now he's been retired all these years, and I'm still mad at him. No,
you can't even look at you, Kenny.
But he asked me if I could forgive him, so it now is all is forgiven.
The statute of limitations is up.
It's up.
It's been a long time.
It has, yeah.
Posada goes out and talks with Sabathia. He's a hard guy not to like, Mr. Commissioner.
Well,
he's too nice.
I know that.
I remember opening the season in Milwaukee one year, and they crushed us for 3 days. I think they outscored us 44-11 in
that
3
was
days.
Harry Dalton had come over, and that was George Bamberger's first 3 games as manager. That's absolutely right.
And I remember it was really cold.
Yes, it was very cold.
And every time the Brewers loaded the bases, somebody hit a grand slam home run.
Gorman Thomas and Don Money, for sure, I remember hit grand slam home run.
You know Bernie Brewer, who slides down that slide?
Yeah.
By the end of the series, he had a pillow on his behind. It was worn out.
That was a remarkable series. And Earl Weaver accused Bamberger of stealing signs. Bernie Brewer stealing signs. That's how ludicrous it got.
The 2-2. Foul back. I remember, I'm not sure if it was the beginning of the season, but a game where Don Money hit a grand slam against the Yankees and timeout was called. You must not have been pleased.
1976. Please. Jim McKeon, the umpire. I'm still mad at Jim McKeon. Billy went out there and convinced him that Chambliss had called timeout, and I've watched the tape for years, and I still don't see it. Am I mad? You bet. I'm still mad about it.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Nope, he foul tipped the ball to stay alive. Boy, he just got angry, Kenny. You remember that?
The date, the time.
You bet. Not that I'm a bad loser, you understand.
Well.
And the statute of limitations has not run out.
Okay.
Jim McKeon is now an umpire supervisor, and every time I see him, before I can say anything, is, please not again.
I remember, Kenny, when I was a writer, if the Yankees would play the Brewers, the commissioner, who wasn't a commissioner then, would be in the back of the press box, and he'd be talking about everything. It'd be great. A running dialogue.
Yeah, there was a running dialogue.
The 2-2. Lined and past the diving Ransom and into left field. Boy, that caught stealing looming very large right now. So Martinez picks up a single.
Now, the Yankees have had a couple of big defensive plays that have helped them out there. The play by Ransom at third to get Peralta to the plate, and then Posada's throw the second on not an easy pitch to throw on. Victor Martinez is one of the best young hitters in this league, a switch hitter, so I'm kind of partial to switch hitters. But he gets one in the middle of the plate here, and he doesn't miss it. He's off to a good start. One of the few Indians have been hitting the ball well in the early going.
A lot of people picked Cleveland to win their division.
Off to a little bit of a slow start.
But
nobody else is running away, though, at this point.
That's right. That division, I think, will go all the way to the wire. Right.
Here's Johnny Peralta, fouled away. Nobody up in the Yankee bullpen. Commissioner, is it true that still in Milwaukee every day you go to the same place for lunch? Is that
when
true?
I'm there, it is true. Yeah, I take a newspaper or two, and I have my little light lunch, a hot dog, and a soda, and it's absolutely true.
Now, what's the name of the place?
Gillies.
Gillies?
Gillies. I'll tell them tomorrow when I'm there that they got a plug on Yankee television. Probably won't help them too much.
But in this day and age, with the way the communications are, you can get games anywhere. So somebody might be watching right now.
Well, it's true.
I was coming up here on the train yesterday, listening to the Yankees on the radio, or I should say on my iPhone.
Pitches outside. 1-1. Have some of the electronic and broadcast initiatives even shocked you? Have they been beyond what you could have imagined?
Yeah, both our BAM, our internet company, and even the channel, Baseball Blue Channel, have been remarkable, right? Who could have dreamed 9 or 10 years ago that the internet would be what it is? Yeah. It's remarkable. Yes, they have been. I don't think anybody believed the world would move as fast as it did. It's affected a lot of people positively, and unfortunately, as you well know, it's affected a lot of people negatively.
Yes. 103 pitches for Sabathia, so in all likelihood, this is his last inning. There's nobody up in the Yankee bullpen, so he's the one who Joe Girardi entrusts to get out of this jam right here. Runner at second is DeRosa, runner at first is Martinez. A 1-2 count on Johnny Peralta. Indians lead 1-0 over the Yanks. And the 1-2. Just missed upstairs. Count 2-2.
Now, in my days when I was still an owner, I'd be, as George Steinbrenner would remember, I'd be yelling at the umpire right now.
How much competition is there among the owners as far as their own particular ball? They want them to win, of course, but, you know, back and forth.
Not, well, there's a fair amount. They're all intense. But George and I happen to watch a lot more games than most people did together.
Well, Johnny, for all the swings and misses, Bud Selig, great to see you.
Michael,
Thanks for
nice
coming
to
by.
see you. Kenny, good to see you. Take
pleasure.
care.
Enjoy the season.
Good luck.
We're halfway through, 1-0 Indians. These fans love the Yankees. Want to show the world it's not like, it's love? Put your favorite team logo out there for everybody to see with MLB banking, only from Bank of America, official bank of Major League Baseball. Visit bankofamerica.com/MLB.
Got one of those, Michael?
Bank of America?
Oh, you got a bank too?
Lexus scoreboard, 1-0 Indians over the Yankees. It was great to see Commissioner Bud Selig. If for anything but that it kept O'Neill out of the booth for half inning.
Back there, he's pacing, getting a few extra steps in.
Did you say the Bank of Michael?
Mark Teixeira leads off. Well, the Yankees have had their opportunities, and they haven't been able to get the big hit. They've had 8 runners left on base over the first 4 innings, and they're trailing 1-0. Still nobody warming in the Yankee bullpen as Teixeira rips one foul. Now, does that surprise you a bit?
Well, CC Sabathia, what do you say? He's about 103,
I think he's
104?
about 104, yeah.
All right. Well, you know, you heard the commissioner himself say with the job he did for Milwaukee last year and complete games, and he's used to going deep into ball games.
Pitch outside. Fouled away. Well, Lee looks like a different pitcher than the one who pitched the first 2 games of this season.
When you come in with the pedigree of being the Cy Young Award winner, you know you've got the ability. Just didn't come through his first 2 starts.
Foul back. The aerial coverage that you're enjoying brought to you by DirecTV. Get every MLB game in HD this season with DirecTV.
And you can tell Teixeira just isn't right now because, I mean, the last 2 pitches he's had are pretty good pitches to hit. He's fouled both of them off.
Swing and a miss.
And then then the pitcher, chances are, is going to make his pitch at some point. And that's usually when you, as a hitter, are struggling, is when you foul off the good pitches. And Clifford kind of takes a little bit off that one after 2 straight fastballs. strikeout.
If I was teaching young kids how to pitch, and want to forget the breaking balls, the first pitch I would teach them outside the fastball is a changeup. Control the changeup, control the speeds of the pitches that you throw to the hitters, and you get a lot of people out.
There's a strike to Nick Swisher. Swisher, a double his last time up, 1 for 2. And another strike, count 0-2. And the lefty deals the 0-2. Strike 3. Swisher down looking. A very dramatic punch-out call by Tom Hallion. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees, by J&R Music and Computer World, and by Audi, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Yankees. Very nice. No graphics, just actual signs here in the stadium. Historic billboard there. Here's Jorge Posada. He's left 4 runners on base in his 2 at-bats. And he has also completely obliterated 2 bats. Not broken them, I mean completely obliterated them.
That's why they sell them by the dozen.
The 0-1. 1-1.
Cliff Lee's done a good job this inning of moving the ball from corner to corner. Striking out to Shera, changing speeds too, and then Swisher. This is his best inning so far.
Count 2-1. Driven out to deep center field, going back Sizemore, still back, looking up, see ya! The first home run here at Yankee Stadium off the bat of Jorge Posada, and it ties the game at 1. And Boomer likes it. So the last home run at the old place by Jose Molina. The first one here by Jorge Posada.
That's the worst pitch he threw this inning. Remember, I tossed in so far? And this one's so far. Straight away center field. Sizemore with the last look at it. And this game is tied. Yeah, about right here he says, I'm not getting this one.
You see George, he gets his, a pitch away, gets his hands extended, his bat out front. Good. Anytime you can go dead center field, even when it's cool out like it is now, you know you hit the ball well.
Plus, he gets to use that bat again, Michael.
That's right. And how appropriate that the ball was deposited amongst all the Yankee memories out there in the new Monument Park. So the first home run here at the ballpark, the 0-1. And we said he worked so hard on rehab to get back for this game. And let's take a look at it in the IOTV HD Super Shot. Popped up and out of play. Now, I don't know if you could even break it down in your mind to this kind of time sequence. When the ball hits the bat at that point, do you know it's gone, or does it have to have some kind of follow through?
There's a time when you hit it right on the screws, and it's almost immediately. It just, that feeling goes through. You've already pictured it in the stands. It's amazing how quick your mind can work. Yeah. But then there's ones that you kind of hold your breath. You know they might scrape the back of the wall.
And sometimes you fool yourself. You don't think you got it.
Yeah.
It actually goes out.
Yeah.
The 1-2. Foul back.
But Paul's right. When you hit one, you just know there's no way it's going to stay in the ballpark. You feel the feeling in your hands. It kind of goes up your arm and sends a signal to your brain. you've done your job.
That's right.
And then, you almost toss your bat away and start trying.
And there's a new Monument Park. Check swing. That was Posada's 223rd home run in his career. And he passes Don Mattingly for sole possession of 8th place on the Yankees all-time list.
So in more ways than one, it was an historic home run.
So now Jorge has something in common with Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth hit the first home run at the old place. And now Posada, the first home run here at the 2-2. Outside, 3-2.
So you think about catching, though, even though you can be an excellent hitter like Posada, your main job is get the pitcher through the ball game.
3-2. Missed, and Cano walks. So Cliff Lee running into a little bit of trouble after 2 quick outs. A strikeout of Teixeira and Swisher. He's got 94 pitches, 57 strikes. Eric Wedge, the Indians' young manager, although he's been there for a while, started very young.
His 7th year.
I believe he was 35 when he began. So just 42 years old, and he's a veteran manager. But when he started, that beard was not gray. Hasn't even turned 42 yet. He's 41. Joe Girardi always seemed older, right? Even when he was young, Paul, right?
Is that right?
Don't you think?
Just because he talked about things that you never thought about. That's kind of the way I looked at it. He talked about things with, Joe, I never thought about it that way. But then, his mind was always going over something.
See, I was more surface. The hair made me always think he was older than he is. He never had long hair. Because, when you came to the Yankees, you pretty much had an afro.
Nice little fro.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not like Oscar Gamble, though.
It was close. It was close.
Oscar had a 2-and fro.
2-and fro?
The 2-1. Fouled off in front of the plate. Got a piece of Shopik. Count 2-2. Hey, tomorrow there's a second game. There's going to be years of games at this place. Yankees, Indians. Anthony Reyes will go up against Jabba Chamberlain. And our coverage will start at noon right here on Yes. And the starting pitchers tomorrow brought to you by Verizon Fios. Over 100 HD channels and the fastest internet. This is Fios. This is big. And the 2-2.
Years ago, there used to be baseball fields on this side. I played when I was 15, 16 years old in Bronx Federation League. And you could hear the cheers from the old stadium. And you're just hoping maybe you can get in there one day.
Kind of a roar.
Exactly. And then somebody had a transistor radio and said, Mickey just hit one, or Roger Maris just hit one, or Yogi.
We played on those fields. Mike, remember that commercial we
Yes.
shot? The softball commercial?
Yeah.
Soft ground ball to second base. Going to be a tough play. Graffinino barehand fires and throws it past Martinez. Moving to third is Cano. And Matsui will stay right where he is at first. We'll see how they score that. It's got to be an error because the runner moved to third, but I'm not sure if Matsui will get a hit.
Well, I believe on the hustle, you give Matsui the base hit, and then the error is on the throw, which allows Cano to go all the way to third base. There's Graffinino. Looked like he didn't get a good grip on the ball, and in his haste to get it to Martinez, he almost throws it into the camera bay there.
And it's so close that, the first baseman in his defense, you just don't have enough time to pick up the ball, and that's what makes that such a tough play for the first baseman.
Matsui does get a hit, and there is also an E4.
Carl Willis, the pitching coach, out there. Looked like it was going to be an easy inning for Cliff Lee. Struck out the first 2 hitters, then the homer, then the walk, and now the single with an error. And things are starting to compile here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So here's Cody Ransom. Ransom did not start the last 2 games, but he came in yesterday and scored a big run for the Yankees and was mobbed in the dugout afterward. Pitch outside. He needed that as a pick-me-up, and back in the starting lineup. Joe Girardi said, I know he doesn't have a high average, but he's hit the ball hard about 9 or 10 times without any luck. He said, I want to make sure he doesn't change things just because the ball's not dropping in. But we did see toward the end of the road trip that because it wasn't dropping in, he seemed uncomfortable at the plate. And you could preach that to a hitter all day, Paul, and you're still going to change something.
It doesn't matter. I mean, sometimes as a hitter, especially a young guy trying to put up some numbers, you see yesterday, you need instant. You need something to tell you in the game that you're doing something right. And it's not hitting the ball hard. It's picking up that box score and seeing some hits in that hit column. And that just hadn't happened yet.
Soft ground ball by Ransom to short, and that's going to do it. The force is made at second. But the Yankees tie the score. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. And they tie the score and made some history in the process. The first Yankee Stadium home run off the bat of Jorge Posada. We go to the 6th. It's 1 more. Those are the lineups that will go down forever as the first lineups here in this new ballpark here in the Bronx. And as we go to the 6th inning, it is a 1-1 game. CC Sabathia is still on the mound, and he started out as the starter and still here, throws the first pitch here in the 6th inning as Chu swings through. So the home run by Posada tied it up. He's thrown 105 pitches in this game. 1-7-0 Yankees, 1-5-1 for the Indians. You know, we have a pretty special guest in the booth, Kenny. I mean, we've got some divine power. Yeah. Opening day for the stadium today, but Archbishop Timothy Dolan of New York, the Archbishop of New York, yesterday was your opening day, right?
Michael, it was. It's a joy to be with you. Thanks for the invite, Ken. Nice to be with you.
Yeah,
yesterday
pleasure.
was my opening day, and it's a great thrill to be here for opening day at Yankee Stadium. Thank you.
Now, this is a pretty nice thing. Is it? I mean, you were the Archbishop of Milwaukee. Is this considered a promotion?
Well, I think this may be a little promotion from Miller Park in Milwaukee, where I just spent 7 happy years. But I'm thrilled. I hear they call that St. Patrick's Cathedral the Yankee Stadium of churches. So
there you go.
I should feel very much at home here. It is great for a kid growing up in St. Louis with baseball as part of my DNA. This is a real thrill.
So you always wanted to become a Cardinal?
That may be the only red hat I have.
One away here in the 6th. Ben Francisco steps in. And the pitch. So did you go to many Brewers games?
Yes, I did. In fact, I'm watching my old buddy Sabathia. You know, we were kind of ticked off in Milwaukee when you all took him from us. He was a real engine last year, a real locomotive for the Brewers. So I hope he comes around. He's struggling a little, huh?
Hanging in there, though.
Yeah, thank God. He's got a lot of endurance. And he really ignited the team last year. He was a great rallying point for the Brewers.
It was kind of just talking to Commissioner Selig about him in last year in Milwaukee, how he was kind of a throwback to the days when pitchers went out there and they completed what they finished.
They completed what they finished. They kept going. Not much time between pitchers. You know, it wasn't rare that he would get 8, even go the full game. So, yeah, reminds me of a Warren Spahn or a Bob Gibson almost. Wow. Remember those days?
I remember facing Bob Gibson. It wasn't much fun.
That's not a pleasant thing for you. Watching him was a lot easier than facing him, I'm sure, Ken.
Now, growing up in St. Louis, who was your favorite Cardinal?
Stan Musial. In fact, yesterday, Mike, he sent me a wonderful gift, a clock signed by him for my to being installed as Archbishop of New York. So I will cherish that from Stan the Man.
The 3-1. There's a strike to Francisco, and the count 3-2.
In fact, Mike and Ken, he told me in the note that he got his nickname, the Man. Was it Ebbets Field or the Polo Grounds?
I think it was Ebbets
Field in Brooklyn.
And he was having such a great day that every time he'd come to the plate, the fans would say, "Here's that man again."
3-2. Inside, so a walk to Francisco. So you say your first Mass in New York this week?
Yes, yesterday. Well, Mike, yesterday was the opening at St. Patrick's. That was my first Mass. This Sunday should be my first Sunday Mass at St. Patrick's Cathedral. But I really look forward to getting around to all the parishes. That's where the heart of the church is.
Now, when you're saying Mass at the Yankee Stadium of Cathedral, St. Patrick, do you get nervous?
I wasn't nervous yesterday. That was a grace of God. And how could I? I mean, the people were so friendly and uplifting. And my Lord, I just felt I was among friends.
See, we have a bad rap in New York, right?
You know, when I listen to the homilies, I wonder how much preparation goes in.
A lot. You got to take homilies very seriously. It's like a pitcher, I think. The way they get ready and anticipate things and read the stats. I think that's what you do when you prepare a sermon. I'm going to the Mets tomorrow, Ken, and they're playing the Brewers, so that's going to be a tough one to kind of to root for the Mets now.
Now, will we see you a lot at the ballpark? You seem like you're a big baseball fan.
I love baseball. I grew up at Busch Stadium listening to people in your pantheon like Harry Carey and Jack Buck and Joe Garagiola and
good change up there by Sabathia, 0-1.
And, of course, you guys know Bob Uecker.
Oh, yeah.
The Brewers.
Oh, yeah.
What a monument he is. So I look forward to seeing him tomorrow at the, what do they call the new
Citi
Shea
Field.
Stadium? Citi Field. Okay. This is magnificent. I was never at the old Yankee Stadium, so this is all new to me. But this is splendid.
They brought a lot of tradition from across the street to here. And I still get the feel of the old Yankee Stadium here.
That's what everybody's saying, Ken. So I'm kind of happy with not having had the privilege of being there to at least have a very close replica.
Yeah, Michael and I grew up in this area, so we spent many an afternoon at Yankee Stadium. I used to sit way out there in the bleachers and root for the Yankees. And back in this, I don't want to say how long ago it was, but it was a long time ago.
Were either of you two guys here when at the old stadium? How many popes said masses there? Paul VI, John Paul II, Benedict XVI. Were you there last year?
You know what? Every time they say mass, the Yankees are on the road.
How true! I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Sure, it would have to be that way.
Now, you probably have a lot of power in many ways. Now that you're the Archbishop of New York, they would let you in the old stadium to take a look around.
I'm going to try to work that. I thought you were going to attribute the fact to me that when I came to the press booth, we got our first run. You're not going to go that far.
You know what? I should. As I said, divine intervention.
A couple of more wouldn't hurt.
We're talking with Archbishop Timothy Dolan, and he is the new Archbishop of New York. We welcome him to New York and to Yankee Stadium as well. The 1-2. Grounded softly to third, and it kicks foul. Runner on first base with 1 out. We are in the top of the 6th inning, and the Yankees and Indians are tied at 1 apiece.
You guys are younger than me, but can you remember 64, the 64 series? For St. Louis, and you never forget that. Pardon me for bringing it up.
Well,
that's when the Cardinals took the Yankees in 7.
I can recall Bob Gibson pitching on 2 days rest to beat the Mets to get the Cardinals.
There you go. And can you remember, Ken, was it 67 when he pitched 2 innings with a broken leg?
He got hit by a line drive.
Yeah.
And I believe he...
Was it 67?
Was it 2 innings? I know he finished that inning with a broken leg.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
We're going to make you one of the announcers.
Yeah,
yes, I mean, save it the word.
Yeah.
Listen, it'll add a little to the candle money if I can work with you guys.
I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness.
That's all I want, and all the hot dogs I can eat. That'll be.
Yeah. We'll have to battle O'Neill for that. So the count 2-2 on Shopik. Shopik walked in the second, then had an RBI, drove in the first run in Yankee Stadium history in the 4th inning, driving home Ben Francisco. Yankees have 7 hits. They've left a lot of runners on base. The Indians have 5. Big lead for Francisco at first base, held there by Teixeira. Sabathia, not saying he's running on fumes, but he certainly had a pitch count now where the Yankees don't want him to go much further. They have Edouard Ramirez warming in the bullpen. 120 pitches, and for the 3rd start of the year, that's a bulky total. Close eye, Joe Girardi watching.
You know, Mike, I had the honor of meeting Yogi. And he's an old St. Louisan, too, you know. He grew up in what we call the Hill section, a great Italian neighborhood.
Joe Garagiola.
Joe Garagiola.
The 2-2. Boy, they are really making Sabathia work. Count still 2-2. How was your meeting with Yogi?
It's great. He was very fond of a priest that was at the St. Ambrose Parish on the Hill when he was growing up, by the name of Father Charlie Kester, who then became an auxiliary bishop in St. Louis, and he was a great model to me as a seminarian and a young priest. So Yogi and I were swapping Bishop Kester stories. And also restaurants on the Hill, which are wonderful Italian restaurants.
2-2. He struck him out. So Shopik down on strikes for the 2nd out.
Here's Sabathia able to reach back for a little extra on that last fastball, much in the same way that years ago Bob Gibson used to do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Keep bringing him up. What about Whitey Ford, too? I remember him for, oh, my Lord. What great ones you've got here. Boy, oh, boy.
Well, we're certainly glad you can make it to the first game. They take CC Sabathia out. Archbishop Timothy Dolan, welcome to New York.
All
the best.
Please, God, I'll be with you again. God bless you, Ken.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for the invite.
CC Sabathia faced, Kelly Shopik. Well, he strikes him out, and you can mark that K on your scorecard. Have another kind of K, Green Mountain K-Cups, a delicious coffee system from WB Mason, and that's where we get our coffee here at Yes, and we love it. I'll tell you what, Kenny and Paul, this was a bend but don't break performance by CC Sabathia. He didn't have his best stuff, didn't have his best command, but never gave up the big hit.
Yeah, 4 walks during the course of the game, but able to reach back for a little extra when he really needed. Got some good defensive help. I mean, the play by Cody Ransom, maybe one of the best you'll see all year long, and it just happened to happen on opening day here at Yankee Stadium.
So Edouard Ramirez against Tony Grappanino. Pitchers have been very, very close. A.J. Burnett and CC Sabathia kind of rallied the starters during spring training. CC would take them to Orlando Magic games. A.J. Burnett would take them fishing, and really kind of formed a very tight-knit group.
That's what I'm looking for up here, Mike. Where does he ever take you, huh? Ken, has he ever bought a dinner or anything?
Yeah.
He really?
Yeah.
You're the one left out, Paul.
Now,
you know, you try and reciprocate when you can.
Kenny did something for us the first game in Baltimore, and he and his wife, Suzanne, invited the entire Yes crew to the house to see the NCAA championship game.
Let's see, that's impressive.
That was nice.
See that? That's right. When they come to Cincinnati, we're all coming over to my patio.
We don't get in the house, Kenny. We go to the patio.
Out on the back deck where it all started, Mike.
That's
with
right.
Shots from the back deck.
During the postseason.
We still got food left over.
Runner goes, the 0-1. Grounded to third. Ransom. The long throw, and the scoop is not made by Teixeira. He could not come up with it. Snap throw to second, and diving back is Francisco. So somebody's going to get an error on that. In all likelihood, it's Ransom. Teixeira's a Gold Glover, but he could not come up with a backhanded scoop.
Little hopper over the bag, and from foul territory, you could see when he made the throw it was going to be low. Teixeira did slow it down and almost comes up with it just off the tip of his glove, and it's going to be an E5. But what it does, it prolongs the inning, and it brings up Trevor Crowe, young outfielder, in a clutch situation for Cleveland.
Pitch is outside, 1-0.
Yeah, up more in the short hop. That ball actually hit out on the grass. That's a tough play for Teixeira.
Crowe is a switch hitter. You can see why they made him a #1 pick.
Fouled away. The first of many indeed. Well, the other place, let's see, 1923 to 2008. So that was 85 years. Get at least 85 years out of this one. And I hope we're all in the booth to see that last game. I don't like our chances, but I hope.
I think you got to count your blessings as they come.
Well, a couple of firsts right there. First home run in the old place, Babe Ruth. The first home run in the new place, Jorge Posada. We got a lot of good karma with the Archbishop here. He really knew his baseball.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get 85 years out of it.
There's a strike. Well, there's been at least one runner on base in every half inning except the top of the first. So 2 strikes on Trevor Crowe. CC Sabathia, the runner at second, is his responsibility. He lasted 5 2/3. High pitch count got him out of there as Edouard Ramirez came on. And the 1-2. Soft ground ball up the middle. Cano grabs and flips to Jeter, not in time. The bases are loaded. That was a nice play getting to that ball.
got rid of the ball too. Only had a chance, at second base. And right now, you're right. They keep bending, but they don't break. They haven't got that big hit, but boy, they're on the verge of trying to break this game open. Great play on Cano, trying to get rid of the ball and make a quick play to second. This thing looks so easy on TV. You know how hard a play that is?
Yeah, it's not an easy play, running in one direction and throwing in another. Here's another look at it. Cano gets to it to save a run. Keeps the ball from getting into the outfield. But to throw to second, Jeter cannot handle it. The runner coming in.
Another pitching change for Joe Girardi. Takes the ball from Edouard Ramirez. And he is going to call on the left-hander Phil Koch. Koch against Sizemore with the bases loaded. Stick around. Today's Toyota text poll. Once again, the question: who will be the first Yankee to play in the new Yankee Stadium and also have his number retired there? So you've been texting your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. And the results are, well, they think it's going to be Derek Jeter. But again, they're not factoring in. Derek Jeter's going to play a lot longer than Mariano Rivera in all likelihood.
I would have to go with Mariano.
He's got to go with Mo, right?
Well, Mariano's already got his number retired.
You're right.
Official on the Yankees.
Right. He's already out there. Maybe
right.
they thought into that.
Here's Grady Sizemore against Phil Koch. Koch in his career, a young career, lefties hit 194 against him, 7 for 36 with 12 strikeouts. He's had a rough beginning this season. 4 games, 0-1, 9.82, 6 hits in 3 2/3 innings, 5 strikeouts. This is a big, big matchup. Blowing away, 1-0. Look at those numbers with the bases loaded for Sizemore, 395.
Yeah, some hitters are capable of just dialing it up. They get up there in the clutch situations and they just focus. I mean, you got to focus every time up, but they seem to turn it up a notch when the game is on the line.
Popped up. Gaiman flips down the glasses and puts it away, so Koch comes on and does the job. And the Indians leave the bases loaded. It's a 1-1 game. Time out for a word from our friends at the Fox Business Network. Berra, and they're exactly 60 feet 6 inches apart, which is the distance from the pitching rubber to home plate. And that reminds everybody of the perfect game. And Thurman Munson's locker, which was a constant presence in the old clubhouse, is brought over to the museum. And the Derek Jeter era, Paul O'Neill was part of that. 4 championships, 96, 98, 99, 2000. One of the places you should visit when you come to the new Yankee Stadium. The place looks great. It's a sellout. The first game ever that counts at this new ballpark. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 1-1 game. And Brett Gardner leads off and takes a strike. You can almost sense the crowd is waiting to explode. Obviously, they had something to cheer about with the Posada home run that tied the game, but it has not been a prolonged rally where they could really empty the lungs. We'll see if the Yankees give them that in the next couple of innings. The 0-1 is popped up. Short left. Crow comes on. 1 away. Rafael Perez warming for the Indians. Have you gotten a chance to walk around, Paul, or is it just too difficult with the fans?
You know, I've only been in here, obviously, a couple of days, and I've been in the tunnels. And,
right.
and the tunnels underneath tell you how big the place really is when you start walking the tunnels. But no, the inside the bleachers and stuff where the halls are and stuff like that, I haven't been around.
Now, Kenny, I know you got here really early. Did you walk around?
The Great Hall was magnificent. I just it kind of took my breath away. And to walk around the Yankee clubhouse, that was awesome.
You got in?
Yeah.
Huh?
Paul was denied access.
How'd you get in?
Well, I had my credential with me.
I had mine too.
I got a chance to talk to Joe Girardi before the game. But they didn't make clubhouses like that when I was playing.
No, what an unbelievable age to be a Major League Baseball. I mean, it always is. But I mean, you just look at the fields now, just the things, the amenities that around the game, that not just out on the field. Contracts aren't so bad either.
No, they've definitely gotten a little better since back in the day. I mean, I can recall it when free agency first came in, and that was. I think I had already played 5 years on 1-year contracts, and
that's basically what started it all.
Yeah, and because I remember the owners in the day saying that the free agency would ruin baseball, but what it did for the owners is that they forced them to find new revenue streams and how to grow the game. And I think this is a culmination of all of it.
Sure.
I mean, both the players and the owners are doing very well. I know it's tough times in the country right now. And, there have been a few cutbacks. I know players' salaries went down this winter.
Some of them.
Well, some of them did.
That's life.
No, I mean the big guys are always going to get their money.
Absolutely.
No matter what era. I mean, Babe Ruth they'd more than the president back in the day.
Well, now the minimum wage guys make more than the president. Literally, the 3-2 is grounded softly up the middle. Charging Grappanino, fires off balance and gets Jeter for the second out.
Well, it looks like Cliff Lee has kind of figured things out over his first 2 starts where he was horrible, and Eric Wedge has got to be pleased with the way he's thrown the ball. I don't think he's had his best location all day, but I mean, he shut down the Yankee lineup to this point with a 1-run, home run by Jorge Posada. But I mean, we talked about it. They're off to a tough start, and turning this thing around obviously is going to be a big part of getting their pitching back on track.
Here's Johnny Damon. He will forever be remembered as the gentleman who got the first hit here at the new Yankee Stadium. A 1-out single in the first inning. Clean single center field. Another shattered bat and a foul ball. And in case you just joined us, here is that historic hit with 1 out in the first inning.
In Prescott from this year on, first hit at Yankee Stadium, you'll see Johnny Damon's name from this point on.
Now, one gentleman who really wishes that he could be here is Alex Rodriguez, who's on the disabled list with hip surgery. He had his first full batting practice session today in Tampa, and he hit 3 home runs and 49 swings. So slow but steady, and they say that he's actually ahead of schedule. Right now the Yankees are saying, okay, May 15th, but it could be before that.
You know what? When you talk about players coming back from injuries and surgeries, I think that sometimes doctors are conservative because they're not used to treating somebody who's a good athlete. I mean, A-Rod was in good shape even when he was injured, and once he had the surgery. So I think that's why you're able to come back a little bit quicker than might be expected. But you just don't want to overdo it.
No.
Swing and a miss. Damon down. The tag is made by Shopik, and that's going to do it. The Yankees go down in order here in the 6th. We go to the 7th. It's a picture-perfect day, 1-1.
Welcome to the new Yankee Stadium.
And that's a gentleman who wishes that he was here as well. Bob Shepard continuing to recover at home. 59th anniversary as Yankees public address announcer. He is the voice of Yankee Stadium, and his voice was heard first before the ceremonies on the field. Spent 50 seasons as the public address announcer for the football Giants. And some of his memorable moments: Larson's perfect game, Maris's 61st home run, and Reggie's 3 home run game. And tomorrow's the anniversary of his first game behind the PA mic. And Bob has made it clear he is not retired. He's still aiming to get back to the stadium at some point. We go to the 7th inning, a 1-1 game. Here's Mark DeRosa against Jose Veras. Pitch is high. So Phil Koch got the final out of the 6th. And now Veras gets the call. Way outside. And the only question you ever have with Veras is command. His stuff is nasty, but sometimes he'll overthrow and he will not hit the strike zone.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's a product of his delivery. Every pitcher has its own personal way of throwing the ball, but Veras, his delivery is somewhat helter-skelter. And if any little thing is off, then his control is going to be off.
It's also what makes him effective from an opposing hitter standpoint. A lot of arms and legs, and that's your everyday delivery.
And an immediate walk. The Yankee bullpen on the road trip was like the little girl with the curl. They were either very, very good or very, very bad. Now, they were outstanding for most of the trip, but they had their moments where they got hammered. But the last 2 games in Tampa Bay, they did very well. It actually started with Nick Swisher's strong performance in the 8th inning on Monday.
He turned things around.
He really did.
Showed them the way.
Victor Martinez wraps one over the head of a leaping Teixeira down the right field line. Heading to third is DeRosa, and Victor Martinez will stop at second with a double. So the Indians are set up second and third and nobody out.
You know, after walking a batter, sometimes a pitcher to regain the strike zone throws one almost right in there. Here's the target, and boy, it's about bell time, maybe a little higher. And Victor Martinez, who's off to a good start anyway, just going to hammer a pitch like that over the head of Teixeira and on into the corner. And the Indians are set up here. Teixeira gave it everything he could, couldn't come down with it.
Yankees come in this game 5-4. The Indians come in at 2-7. Here's Johnny Peralta. The Yankees play the infield back. They'll give up a run on a ground ball. There's a breaking ball away. 1-0. The 6th inning, the first 1-2-3 inning for Cliff Lee. And there's nobody warming in the Indians bullpen. Not very often you see a shortstop as your cleanup batter, but that's Johnny Peralta. A lot of people believe that eventually he will have to move to third. His range is not that great. Now, first base is open, and you've got Cho on deck. I don't think he's pitching around Peralta, but he doesn't want to give him anything good to hit.
Peralta, one reason batting fourth, he's led American League shortstops in home runs the last 2 years. So he can, if you make a mistake, and he is set up here ahead on the count. He had 23 homers last year.
And he led all shortstops with 103 runs scored last year. Check that 104. I don't want to cheat him out of a run. One of these days, guys, what we have to do, like say a Yankee game on a Saturday, like this coming Saturday, let's sit in the stands. When Fox is doing the game, it'd be fun.
You and I out in the bleachers?
That would be great.
Paint our chest with somebody's name or something like you guys do?
I don't know if you really want to paint my chest, Paul.
You have to shave it first, right? Like Austin Powers over there, man.
Either that or put a little ad on there, Michael, make a little money while you're out there.
It doesn't have to be a little ad.
Yeah.
Pass out center stage flyers, all kinds of stuff.
The 2-2. Breaking ball just missed inside.
That fooled everybody, the umpire and the hitter.
Barris had a little stare in for Tom Hallion after this pitch. And we get another look. Does it miss the inside corner? If it does, it wasn't by much. Posada tried to frame Peralta, didn't get the call.
The pitch. Punch down the right field line. It is a base hit. Fair ball into the corner. 2 runs will score. Peralta is at second. A 2-run double. And the Indians lead 3-1.
Go over it a lot. I mean, the Cleveland Indians, in my mind, are just a dead fastball team. And you see that he did not get the call on the good curveball. Comes back with a fastball. And these guys can handle that fastball.
Second time Peralta's gone to the opposite field for a double in today's game. And their hitting coach is Derek Shelton, who for years was in the Yankee organization as a player. In fact, I think he was drafted the same year Jeter was, and he was referred to as the other Derek.
Well, Jose Barris' day is done. Yankees send for Marte. Marte against Chu. When we get back, Yankees down by 2.
It's Swivel.
Only $1.99. Low
Well, the gentleman you're looking at is Mike Hegan, who works on the radio broadcast for the Cleveland Indians. And Mike Hegan, back in the day, played for the Yankees for a while. And in fact, he made the last out at the pre-renovated Yankee Stadium. He struck out against the Tigers. And so that's a look at Mike Hegan back then and Mike Hegan now.
Did you see that sign in the outfield, though? I mean, how long ago that was?
Dotson.
Oh. Dotson doesn't exist anymore. And Chu says it hit him, and it did. That'll load the base. No, not load the bases first and second. Well, there's Dotson. Dotson is now, for our young viewers, Nissan.
Nissan, yeah.
Well, if you're going to get hit, that's the way to get hit.
I had to check out your high def screen over there to see if it really hit him.
You're lobbying for one?
You want a new screen tomorrow? Is that what you want? Francisco squares the bunt. Runs right back to Marte. He goes to third and didn't throw the ball hard enough. Goes to first, not in time. He's short on the ball. You got to throw the ball harder than that, and Peralta just beat the throw. Sacrifice fielder's choice. Bases loaded.
All hands are safe.
A lot of things went on in that play. Nothing on the Yankee side, though.
Well, this game now hanging the balance of getting out of hand. You see Marte's numbers. This just his third appearance of the year. Kelly Shopik with the bases loaded. Line drive, base hit to right field. That's going to score Peralta. Chu moves to third. An RBI single for Shopik, and it is now 4-1 Indians.
Shopik last year really came on in the second half like the whole Cleveland Indian ball club did. They really had a strong second half, one of the best teams in baseball. I think they went 32-17 down the stretch, and it was primarily because their offense awoke, including Shopik, who had a great second half. Well, the bullpen has not distinguished itself in this inning.
Jose Veras got into trouble, and Damaso Marte has kept the trouble going. So now the infield is in with the bases loaded. Here's Graffinino. And the count is 1-0. 4-1 is the score of the game in the first Yankee Stadium, but that was the other way. Yankees beat the Red Sox 4-1 back in 1923. There's David Robertson. He was called up today when Xavier Nady was put on the DL. Marte gets the sign. And the pitch. Popped up. A run will not score. Infield fly rule called. And there's one away. Hey, tomorrow on Yes, the Yankees continue this home opening series against the Indians at Yankee Stadium. The coverage starts at noon with batting practice today presented by Audi. And then the pregame. Then Ken Singleton, Paul O'Neill, and I have the call from the booth. Yankees and the Indians. It all starts tomorrow at noon, and it's only on Yes. You must love these day games, Paul. You're going to be able to go out to dinner.
Friday afternoon starts, do we?
Not very often.
It's like old days.
Like Wrigley Field, prior to the lights.
Pitch is inside the Crow. You'll be able to hit all your favorite restaurants.
Drop your name at a couple places to get in.
That's not a good idea.
It's not a good thing?
No, I don't think so. Certain places it could be a bad idea. The 1-0. Upstairs 2-0. See, the outfield is straight away in the jam-packed Yankee Stadium. And the 2-0. Strike 2-1.
We saw Bob Lorenz out in center field during the day. I mean, he was just back there telling me how good the menu looked. I think we're going to start trying some of the baseball park places.
NYY Steak. Nice steakhouse in the building. Count 3-1.
You can't go wrong in here. I mean, you could live here, actually.
Hey, believe me, if you go into that clubhouse very long, you can very easily live here.
The 3-1. And that's going to force in a run. Crowd starting to boo. Chu scores, and now it's 5-1 Indians.
Well, leadoff walk, a hit batter, some indecision on a bunt play, another walk, a couple of doubles and a single, and the Indians have thrown up a 4 spot, and this is not done in the top of the 7th.
Pitch to Sizemore, fouled away.
Let's check out the hitter scouting report on Grady Sizemore. Certainly a star in this game. He's hit 4 straight 100-run seasons. Every once in a while you might see him drop down to 3rd spot in the order, but usually a leadoff man. Joe Carter and he are the only 2 Cleveland Indian players in history to have 30-30 seasons, 30 homers and 30 steals. And but he hasn't hit well against the Yankees in his career. Just 198 starting today, and that's gone down a bit. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of walks.
Count 1-1. Base is still loaded. That one's driven deep to right field. Going back, Swisher looking up. See ya! A grand slam for Grady Sizemore. Another first here at the stadium, and the Indians are pouring it on. They lead 9-1.
The ball looked like a breaking ball, didn't get far enough out over the plate, and Sizemore kept his hands back just enough. Well, he actually reached out and got it.
You see, he was fooled a little bit. You're right. You get that on the barrel, and because you reach for the ball a little bit, you get extension, and that's just enough in Yankee Stadium as a left-handed hitter to pull that ball out of here.
And the pitch to DeRosa is outside. He started all of this innocently enough with a walk. That's the 3rd grand slam of Sizemore's career. A lot of smiles on the Indian bench as they lead 9-1. Ground ball at 3rd. Ransom. And that's just the 2nd out. A little bit of a mock cheer from the crowd.
Check out location. Target's low and away. Actually, it is away, but I don't think it's quite low enough. He didn't have to reach down to get it. Sort of had somewhat of a level swing, and then pops it. Got good wood on it. Not his best swing. Not his best swing, but he got enough wood on it to get it about 3 or 4 rows back in right field. Swisher with the try and comes up short.
Pitch to Victor Martinez is inside. 1-0. That one's driven deep to left field. Going back, Damon looking up. See ya! Into the left field bleachers. In the old park, that was rarefied territory. In the new park, that's still a long ride. It is 10-1 Indians. Gee, Paul, you don't know if that's a big deal because the place just opened, but we never saw balls hit into the left field bleachers.
No, and you know, in the exhibition games we're here, remember we saw the ball carry. You see this ball. I mean, Martinez just wails on it. But again, you're right. I mean, the ball carries here. The ball carries well. Early in the game, we didn't talk about it, but now that, you know, guys are getting better swings, I mean, that ball, that's a no-doubter.
Drive to left field. Damon's there, and that's going to do it. But the Indians score 9 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Nobody is left on base. At the end of 6.5 time for the 7th inning stretch, Indians lead the Yankees 10-1, but we stay right here at Yankee Stadium as we honor America here in the Bronx.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. Will you please rise? Please direct your attention now to the microphone behind home plate and welcome Decca Universal Classics recording artist Ronan Tynan. In honor of the servicemen and women stationed around the globe, Dr. Tynan will now sing God Bless America.
While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us swear allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for our lands of flame. As we raise our voices in a solemn prayer, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the plains to the ocean, wide with love. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
First thing I thought of was how upside down I was on my car loan.
Look ahead to tomorrow, game 2 of the series. It's Anthony Reyes for the Indians going up against Jabba Chamberlain, who looked terrific in his first outing. Coverage begins at noon on Yes, and of course, first pitch shortly after 1 o'clock. Jabba got a nice ovation today as they were introduced here. So Michael will look ahead to game 2 tomorrow, Reyes versus Jabba.
Bob, I like you here next to us.
I should do more of this, shouldn't I?
We like you here at the stadium. I mean, you actually seem very nice in person.
which flies in the face of what most people would think. You know what else I like right now? I'm flanked by you and Kenny, and I'm screening out O'Neill once again.
Very nice.
He's not working today. He's on scholarship.
Oh, there's a shocker. Good to see you, Bob. That's Bob Lorenz, and we'll hear him on the postgame. And David Cohn and Kim Jones and John Flaherty and Nancy Newman, they'll all be back on the postgame, so stick around for that. Mark, or should I say, now Melky Cabrera pinch hits from Mark Teixeira, and Rafael Perez deals, and the pitch is inside. Now, you hope that this is calling up the dogs rather than something's wrong with Teixeira's wrist. You see Rafael Perez, 5 games already this year, 7 hits in 5 innings. So Melky pinch hits here in the 7th. Yankees are down 10-1.
Well, I think it's a chance to give Teixeira's wrist a chance to feel much better. I mean, the Yankees are down by 9 runs as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning.
Well, Mark is still on the bench, so you assume everything is cool. Melky's going to see a lot more time now with the injury to Nady. He always wondered, well, how's Swisher going to get time?
Yeah.
How's Cabrera going to get time? Because Melky was the 5th outfielder and Swisher was the 4th. And Swisher kind of pounded his way into playing time, but now he's out there every single day. So Cliff Lee in line to get his first win. And there's a strike to Cabrera.
Cliff Lee seemed to get better as the game went on. At the beginning, it appeared that he was 1 hit away from coming out of the ball game, but he hung in there, got some big outs when he needed them. And the Yankees left 5, 7, 9 men on base, 10 men on base while he was in the game.
And Melky does work a walk-off Perez. 1 on, nobody out. Hey, after the last pitch of this historic first regular season game at the new Yankee Stadium, don't miss the WB Mason postgame. Join Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, David Cohn, and Kimberly Jones as they recap all the pageantry of this home opener, plus highlights from around the majors. It's the WB Mason postgame after the final out, only on Yes. And that's going to bring up Nick Swisher. He had a double in the 3rd inning. And there's a strike. Well, the last thing a manager wants, you have a 10-1 lead, and you walk up a leadoff batter. It just doesn't make sense. The worst he could do is hit a home run. Now, when Marte was getting pounded in the top of the 7th inning, the crowd here at the stadium was chanting, "We want Swisher," meaning that Swisher actually pitched better than Marte when he pitched on Monday against the Rays, and sadly enough, he did. By the way, the crowd here at the stadium, 48,271, and that is considered a sellout. The Yankees did not sell their standing room only tickets for this game. 1-1. Rip foul.
This is from the other day down at Tropicana Field. Nick Swisher on the hill in the 15-5 Yankee loss, and deals out a walk, strikes out Gabe Kapler. Yeah, he wants the ball, send it to Cooperstown. And he got Carlos Pena to pop up. He didn't have the easy part of the order to deal with there. And he gets the fly ball from Longoria, and some high fives on the bench. If it were only that easy.
Now, Paul, you actually pitched 2 innings once when you were with the Reds and kind of hurt your arm, didn't you?
Yeah, that was. I watched that game the other night. I saw him in there, and I was just hoping that one on his toe there. I was hoping he didn't try to go out and overthrow, because as a position player, that's the way you can hurt yourself.
Yeah, Jose Canseco.
That's what you did, right? You threw too hard.
Yeah, tried to at least.
You go back to the days as we see Swisher get hit on his right foot. You think back to the days when you were in Little League and the guy who threw the hardest was a pitcher.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for the Land Rover drive of the game, and this one not that hard to figure out. This is the Land Rover drive of the game.
5th inning. Jorge Posada with an historic home run. First home run here at the new Yankee Stadium. Almost straightaway center field, right down the middle of the fairway. And Posada's, actually that was his 2nd home run of the season.
Now here comes Willis to come out and talk with Rafael Perez, with Posada due up.
Carl Willis has had the last 2 Cy Young Award winners. He had CC Sabathia in 2007 and then Cliff Lee last year. People don't remember when Willis came out and Walt Frazier scored 36 that day.
I think he remembers. Hey, it's calendar weekend at Yankee Stadium when the Yankees face the Indians this Saturday, April 18th and Sunday, April 19th. All fans in attendance on both days are going to receive a 2009 Yankee Stadium inaugural season calendar courtesy of Subway. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or you can call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Here is Posada. He had that drive of the game we just showed you, so he's 1 for 3. Count 1-0. Derek Jeter, the first Yankee batter in the new ballpark. And the 1-0. That could be 2. There's 1. On to first, it's a double play. So a 6-4-3 double play as Cabrera moves to third now with 2 outs.
You know, early in the season, I know it's early for team meetings, but the Indians have been playing so poorly that Eric Wedge called a meeting in Kansas City before the Indians actually got here. And it seems to have worked. They won yesterday, and they're winning big today. So even though it's less than 10 games into the season, it's a little unusual to have a team meeting, but it seems though he's got his team's attention.
Those meetings usually aren't about the winning and the losing. It usually comes about of the way the team's taking the field, the way they're playing, and things like that. And a lot of teams that go out on a high note like they did last year in September just show up this year and expect it to happen again. And you've got to put yourself in the same position. And that's going out there beating teams every day.
Hey, there are teams that have early meetings. One of those teams was the '98 Yankees. You guys started up 1-4, and I suppose he had a meeting where David Cohn kind of aired everybody out.
It was in Seattle when we had we had a little problem out there, but it ended up turning our season around. And it's, you look back at some things like that, and it kind of changed our year then.
Line drive, base hit to left field. That'll score Cabrera an RBI single for Cano. He's 2 for 3, and the Indians now lead 10-2.
Well, you know you're going well when you don't particularly hit this one all that great, but you fight it off, get yourself an RBI single. Cano's 2nd hit of the day to go along with the base on balls. He's already walked 5 times this year. Didn't get his 5th walk until the 22nd game of the year last year. So a little bit more patience worked in for Robinson Cano, and his on-base percentage is just going to go up and up and up. He's been on base 3 times today.
The reason he gets that hits here is just his approach. I mean, he's behind in the count. He's facing a left-hander who throws a lot of breaking balls, stays in and just fights it off the other way. And, with a man on third, a man on second, that's as good as driving one to the wall. I mean, you just worry about getting run thin.
Cano's 5th multi-hit game of the year. It's only the 10th game, not too bad. We'd like to have 81 multi-hit games.
Sets up for a pretty good year.
Here's a guy the Yankees would like to get going. That Matsui's Had himself an infield single and a walk. And sometimes, as I mentioned, when you're struggling, and it happens to all hitters, you start getting those base on balls, and then you start getting a better feel for what's coming up there. And all of a sudden, here's another walk. And that's not a bad thing. I know it's not a hit, but he's getting on base. It's better than making outs and never getting to see your first base coach again. So Matsui's been on base 3 times.
There's Cody Ransom. Ransom 0 for 3. George Washington Bridge connecting New York with New Jersey. And the pitch. Oh, strike. Bottom of the 7th inning, the Indians broke a 1-1 tie with 9 runs in the top of the inning. Yankees have answered back with 1. First and second with 2 outs. Cody Ransom is not liking breaking balls. Last year, when he came up to the Yankees, with a couple of home runs, people trying to sneak fastballs by him. He's 33 years old, spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, and people are catching up to some of the holes in the swing, and they're dropping breaking balls down and away. The 0-2, 1-2. The 1-2. Weak hack there on an off-speed pitch, and Ransom down on strikes. While the Yankees get a run on 1 hit with no errors and 2 men left, we go to the 8th inning. The Indians lead the Yanks 10-2. Everybody down. Located back in center field, underneath the batter's eye before the game. People visiting out there, seeing those 5 monuments of players, and then the 1 monument to the 9/11 victims. All the plaques, the retired numbers as well. And Babe Ruth made the trip. So he had the house that Ruth built. Now this is the new house here in the Bronx. And number 42 is retired. All-around baseball to honor Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson Day yesterday around Major League Baseball, where every player wore number 42. Well, it has not been a perfect opening day for the Yankees on the field. They trail 10-2. David Robertson takes over. Damaso Marte really struggled in the 7th inning as the game was blown open against him. And here's Robertson. There's a strike.
Interesting story today when David Robertson came into the locker room. Nick Swisher now at first base. Melky Cabrera was in right field. That's Ramiro Pena is taking over at shortstop for Derek Jeter. And mentioned Melky out in right field. Robertson walked into the Yankee clubhouse with his equipment bag, and he had it draped over his right shoulder. And I was talking to manager Joe Girardi, and Joe immediately looked at David and said, "Would you mind carrying that on your on your left shoulder?"
Smart.
Yeah, just Joe sees everything.
Swing and a miss. Shin Soo Choo. 0 for 3 was hit by a pitch in the 7th inning. Swing and a miss. 1 away. Well, since Joe sees everything, he could see the Joe Girardi show. When does he see it? Sunday, after the Yankees close out this series against the Indians. Don't miss an all-new WB Mason presents the Joe Girardi show. Reflects on this home opening series against the Indians and looks ahead to the A's and the Red Sox. It's in Boston. It's the Joe Girardi show, Sunday at 5 only on Yes. Ben Francisco takes a strike. And the 0-1. 1-1. So CC Sabathia today struggled a bit. But as we mentioned, he bent, but he did not break. And when he left the game, it was 1-1. Ground ball up the middle, Cano. And he will flip to first. A scoop there by Nick Swisher. 2 away. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Get every MLB game in HD this season with DirecTV. Here's Kelly Shopick, one of the fields around the stadium. Kenny talked about how he used to play on a field that was located on this property and would dream about playing in the ballpark. Those same dreams in those kids' head.
The field back then didn't look as nice as that.
That's kind of real close, isn't it?
That's artificial surface. I mean, we're dealing with pebbles and little rocks and stones in the infield. Made you a better fielder, though.
It was funny. You come into the ballpark from the old, the old ballpark, and you would go by all those fields. Today, the way I was coming in, the driver took me behind this field. I don't even know what it might be, River Road or something. I mean, all the like the sports bars and all the fan T-shirts and pictures, and I've never come into the stadium now.
So that's the street with the L, River Avenue.
Is that
the one with the elevated train over it?
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of neat. I've never been back there, so it's just seeing what goes on outside the game before the game starts, other than traffic.
Well, Kelly Shopick strikes out, so that's a nice inning for David Robertson as he retires the Indians in order 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Yankees trail the Indians 10-2 here at the stadium. Train over River Avenue that Paul's talking about, and that's the Hard Rock Cafe here at Yankee Stadium. From Hard Rocks to Hard Knocks. 1923, Babe Ruth against the Red Sox. Place opened, and he opened it with a home run. Why not? It's the house that Ruth built. Today, the new house. And Jorge Posada hits the first home run. And that was the Yankees' first run, tied the game at 1. Seems a long time ago as the Yankees are trailing in this one 10-2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. First hit, Johnny Damon. First run, Ben Francisco. First RBI, Kelly Shoppick. First home run, Jorge Posada. And the first grand slam was Grady Sizemore. And Perez deals a strike to Brett Gardner. 10-11-1, beating 2-8-1. Weak hack there by Gardner. Count 0-2.
In these type of games where you're kind of getting blown out, getting towards the end of the ball game, I always felt it was good if you stage somewhat of a rally. It kind of reminds the other team that there's a game tomorrow, right, and we'll be back.
Missed outside.
You know, you might have outscored us by plenty today, but that's the one thing about baseball that I always loved. That when I was a kid, you know, you'd lose, and we can play again tomorrow. If it's not a little league game, I'm going to be playing on the playground somewhere.
Right. Interesting to see. I mean, you talk about all the new things here, and now you start to see the shadows creeping in. If it's going to be a tough ballpark to hit in, late in the afternoon. We talked about left field a little bit. Is that still going to be really bad sun field?
Yeah. How does the ball carry them off the walls on hits or go into the corners?
And David Cohn and I during the exhibitions, I mean, is the right field upper deck still reachable like it was in the old stadium?
Oh my goodness!
So it's there's a lot of things that will be answered here in the next 80 games left this year.
Right field upper, maybe by phone call.
I don't know, man. You don't over the State Farm sign, and left center was reached today.
And a walk to Brett Gardner. Boy, is Rafael Perez taking off Eric Wedge. He's walked the leadoff batter with huge leads in each of the last 2 innings. Hey, fans, today and throughout the Yankee season on Yes, we're allowing you to vote along with the 3 of us here in the booth for the Chevrolet Player of the Game. Text your vote to 58772. And today's candidates are number 1, Jorge Posada. Number 2, Cliff Lee. Number 3, Kelly Shoppick. Number 4, Grady Sizemore. You can vote now and make your voice heard, and standard text messaging rates apply. Here's Ramiro Pena, and the pitch is high, 1-0. So Gardner leads off first. And the pitch. A little bit low. Ramiro Pena in a blowout game. They took Derek Jeter out for the last couple of innings. Pena 1 for 6. He started the last 2 games at third base and placed a Cody Ransom. Derek still checking out the game.
Long season.
The 2-0. There's a strike. Count 2-1.
Was it in Baltimore? Pena got his first hit bat. Got the hit. Just get it out of the way right away. This solid single to center field.
The 2-1. Count 2-2.
It's amazing. Every year you start, Kenny, you love to get those zeros out of all the columns. I mean, it was always important to get that first home run out of the way, that first hit, that first RBI. And then it was like, okay, now I can start having my year here.
I remember one year starting first swing of the year was a home run.
Oh, those were nice.
Oh, man, just got all of that out of the way. This is going to be a great year.
And you know what? If it takes a couple weeks, you start pressing. You know, you think, but at the end of the year, the numbers always add up to basically the same. But you know, if you get off, even if you're hitting well and you're driving in runs, all of a sudden you look up and there's that big goose egg in the home run column. You know, you got to get rid of those.
I think David Cohn was talking during the road trip about an opening day where you just destroyed him. You had a lot of numbers in all the columns.
That was my first game in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, against Kansas City. Coney got the starting day.
Do you remember what he threw you?
I remember the last week, threw me a little split finger, didn't drop enough. I hit it out in the left center. I think he was looking at the left fielder. He was probably not playing me in the right position or something. It's one of those days where everything you hit kind of fell in.
You hit a home run that day, too?
No, I didn't hit a home run.
4 hits, though, right?
Yeah, 4 hits.
Oh, what a way to start the season.
Good day.
Popped up and fouled away. Now, your wife has told me that if you had 4 hits and the last time out you made an out, that you were annoyed the whole day.
Well, Kenny talked about it. You always want to go home with a good feeling. Even if you got first 4, you know, you screwed up the last one. Now, 4-hit days were good.
Few and far between. Too few, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because there might have been a day where you had 3 and somebody caught a rope.
Pena really putting together a tough at bat. (10-2). Indians leading the Yankees. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Yankees had their opportunities to get some runs early, and they did not get the big hits. They left the bases loaded in the 4th. They left 2 on in the 1st, the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th as Pena swings and misses. 1 away. Another thing that you should look for if you come to the stadium is the Peter Max Art Gallery. Picture there of Scott Brosius. I believe that was in the 2001 World Series against the Diamondbacks.
Beautiful. I also remember the home run he hit against San Diego, in San Diego.
Yeah.
In the World Series. Trevor Hoffman. The stadium was going nuts when Hoffman came in the game.
Right.
I remember Hell's Bells was playing.
Exactly. AC/DC was cranking. And
oh, man, that stadium was... And
30 seconds later, they were
quiet.
Grabbing their towels and getting ready to go home.
They're pulling the car keys out. Scott Brosius. Straightaway center.
Right.
And that was it. Oh, look at that picture of the Mick.
The 0-2. Popped up, shallow left. Crow is there for the second out. So Damon 1 for 5. His first time up, he picked up the first base hit here at Yankee Stadium. And that's going to bring up Melky Cabrera. And the pitch. Hot shot right at Peralta. That's going to do it for the Yankees in the 8th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Let's take this baby to the 9th inning. It's 10-2 Indians. by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By SpongeTech, the world's leading ultimate one-step wash and wax system. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. Tony Graffinino with one right back at Robertson. He knocks it down, and it's going to be a base hit for Graffinino.
Jorge Posada out to check on David Robertson to see if he's okay, and the youngster nods that he is. Robertson was impressive last year when he got called up for the minors. We take another look at this. Graffinino, one hop. I don't know if he got him in the bare hand or got him in the glove, but he's going to continue. The Yankees have used 5 pitchers out of the bullpen. Ramirez, Koch, Veras, Marte, and now Robertson.
Here's Crow. And there's a strike. Many in the crowd heading for home as the stadium begins to empty. I'd like to give the crew here at Yes a big thank you. Traveling with the team yesterday, including the team, everybody got in late. They got into bed 2, 3 in the morning and put together this home opener broadcast and worked their butts off. And I want to thank our producer, Kevin Spolin, and director, John Moore, all the people that work around them. We couldn't do this without them for sure. They did an unbelievable yeoman job. So thank you to everybody in the truck. The 1-2. 2-2.
You guys have trouble landing last night?
I think delayed taking off from St. Pete, and then for some reason circling for a while. Coming into New York. No, there was nothing. Nobody knew why. Yeah, they said there was too much traffic, so we had a circle over Delaware.
The Yankees got to wait in traffic. That's a bad thing.
What time in the morning was this?
It was past midnight, so I don't quite get it. The 2-2. There's a base hit to left field off the bat of Crow.
The rookie's been on base his last 3 times, a couple of singles and a walk. Scored a run in the 7th.
Hey, after the last pitch of this historic first regular season game at the new Yankee Stadium, don't miss the WB Mason postgame. That's right. Join Bob Lorenz, John Flaherty, David Cohn, and Kimberly Jones as they recap all the pageantry of this home opener, plus highlights from around the majors. It's the WB Mason postgame after the final out, only on Yes. Robertson, the 6th Yankee pitcher, as we mentioned, and that's the most the Yankees have used in a single game so far in this young season. Grady Sizemore swings and misses. He had the first grand slam ever here at the ballpark.
It gives him now 10 runs batted in on the season. He led all leadoff hitters in runs batted in last year.
It's not bad for a leadoff hitter.
He had 90 last year.
Do you ever have trouble, Kenny, with like a game like this where you hit a, you're going to watch it again, you hit a grand slam, you see a breaking ball, you just kind of reach for it, got enough of it. And, you know, emotionally you get so high that it's almost hard to bring yourself back down to finish the game. Because, I mean, that grand slam just keeps going through your mind over and over again.
I think what you got to remind yourself that all these at-bats add up.
Right, exactly.
So you've got to, bear down each and every time. Ooh,
that's a curve.
Nice curve.
Well, Tom Hallion's having a good time behind the plate.
Yeah. He's getting his money's worth on his called strikes, isn't he?
Let's take a look. Good curve. I don't know if Posada was crossed up or not, but Tom Hallion says, Grady, we've seen enough of you this at bat. Yeah. Pulls the chain on him.
Here's Mark DeRosa. Popped up. Shallow left, backing up Pena. Coming on Damon. Damon with the call on the catch. 2 away.
Yeah, you know, you might pull an oblique muscle or something with those calls. I remember an umpire, Nick Bremigan, called me out like that, and I said, Nick, you know, geez, come on.
What is that?
Yeah.
Trying to embarrass me?
And he apologized. He said, I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking right here of Hallion punching out O'Neill in a big spot like that. Oh, that would not be fun.
Man. Why all these things come to your mind? Do they just crack you up, huh?
Because I always like to try to integrate you in all walks of life. And when I see a guy make a call like that, I go, I wonder how Paul O'Neill would react. I think that'd be a great show on Yes. Just called, I wonder how Paul O'Neill would react.
That's what you need's another stinking show, by the way.
Hosted by Michael King.
Hosted by, directed by, produced by.
WWOD. What would O'Neill do? Different things, just different things in American history, you know? He's there at the signing of the Declaration of Independence, getting all ticked off.
This is taking too long.
Ticked off. I'm not first in line.
Come on, Hancock.
That's right.
Taking too long on that signature.
Why do you have to sign it so big?
The 2-0. There's a strike. A triple for Travis Hafner would give him the cycle. Or, I'm sorry, a triple for Victor Martinez would give him the first cycle since Travis Hafner.
Nice little changeup. I didn't think Robertson featured a changeup much last year.
I'll tell you what, he's been pretty impressive today. He's got a good fastball. We saw his good strikeout for a curveball.
He had the curveball last year. We noticed that. But, you know, sometimes they tell you to go down and work on a pitch.
And the 2-2. Missed outside. First and second with 2 outs. We're in the 9th inning. And the Indians lead the Yankees 10-2. Pitch. Popped up. Cody Ransom in foul territory. He'll put it away for the final out of the 9th inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 men left. Do the Yankees have a rally in their bones? Bottom of the 9th inning coming up. Hey, Yankee fans, for all of your Bomber news and notes, visit YesNetwork.com. Read the latest blogs from your favorite Yes personalities, plus sign up for mobile alerts to get Yankee scores and news on your mobile device. For the best Yankees coverage on the web, visit YesNetwork.com. On the web right now is a new edition of Q&A with Kay.
Just another show. You got something else working. Q&A with K.
Q&A with K.
Yeah.
We got the Kimberly Jones blog. Anything that happens could be blogged now by Kimberly, so watch yourself around her, Paul.
Is that right?
She'll write everything. It's unbelievable. Rafael Betancourt will try to hold the Yankees down here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Betancourt off to somewhat of a good start. 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, only 1 walk, 3 hits allowed. This will be his 5th appearance of the year. He's another fixture in that Cleveland bullpen for the last few years. Got a good fastball, good live arm.
One thing I could tell you about Betancourt, everything that Kenny just said is true. He takes an extraordinary amount of time between pitches. Extraordinary. They've tried to speed him up, but he's not buying into that. There's the set. Like a whirling dervish, he delivered that so quickly. Nick Swisher had the Yankees' first extra base hit here at the ballpark. A double to left in the 3rd. And the 0-1. Yankees had won 11 straight home openers. So this will snap that unless they rally here in the bottom of the 9th.
Speaking of streaks, Swisher with that double is now hitting 9 straight games. It's a nice way to get things going in the month of April.
Swisher hits one to left center. Grady Sizemore flips down the glasses. 1 away. Now you might remember the last time they lost a home opener, Paul, 1997, April 11th, the 3-1 loss in 12 innings to the A's.
You were probably writing us off on the 12th, weren't you? April 11th, we lose. Michael was probably saying, you know,
season's over.
Terrible, terrible year.
I was on the radio then. I wasn't writing anything. I was trying to pull Sterling off the ledge.
On April 11th?
John's very emotional.
Takes it serious when he doesn't get to throw his Yankees win. He didn't.
Posada with the first home run at Yankee Stadium, 1 for 4 today, the 0-1. Outside 1-1. Remember this, because this is going to be an answer to a trivia question for years to come. Who hit the first home run in Yankee Stadium? Jorge Posada is the answer. And he got the first curtain call as well. Count 1-2. And the pitch. Foul back. Got a piece of shop it, knocked his mask off.
You ever imagine catching Kenny? Huh?
I did it for a week in Police Athletic League, Paul.
Didn't work for you?
You know, I was pitching back in those days, and it was fun for a while.
Really? I think I was glad I was left-handed. They wouldn't let you catch if you're left-handed.
1-2. 2-2. Well, this game broken open in the 7th inning as Jose Veras and Damaso Marte just did not do the job.
You know, it's funny, yeah, if you just tuned in, you're like, oh, this has been a blowout. But, I mean, we went into the 7th inning in a 1-1 tie, right?
Yep.
All of a sudden, 9 runs later, it's a blowout.
The complexion of the game changed quickly, or, you know, in that particular half inning.
And Posada works the count full. The one thing that's always amazing about players, it's a blowout, but they're not going to deviate from what they do to be successful. Posada's not going to expand the strike zone, get into any bad habits.
Like I said before, it all ends up. I mean,
you know, and if you do have like a routine that you go through, or thought process, I mean, that has to be the same whether it's a tie game or a blowout. It's hard to fool yourself sometimes, when you get those at bats and say, yeah, this isn't such a big at bat, or that is, and then
you don't like to waste them though. Sometimes when you get back to the bench, I didn't have the proper approach, and that means you have to redouble yourself when you go up there the next time.
(3-2), and Posada works a walk.
I think one time, particularly if you hit a home run the previous at bat, you know how good that feels. You almost have to throttle back, because you want to hit another one pretty soon.
It's hard to block it out of your mind. You tell yourself not to, and it just keeps creeping in your mind. You're going to get that same pitch again.
And then the guy out there says, "No, you're not."
So here's Cano. You see, he's gotten off to a great start. Last year, he got off to such an abysmal start. Buried himself early, was never able to get out of the hole, ended up hitting .271, got benched by Girardi in September, but really has had a renewed dedication to his craft. Came into camp in great shape, slightly changed stance, a little more closed by hitting Coach Kevin Long. His approach is shorter, quicker to the ball, and he's in great shape.
All those things are great that you can add up on paper to make yourself a better player. But Robbie Cano, I mean, he's flat out can hit. I mean, he's a good hitter before you even start with that stuff. And that's what was so surprising last year. Although, if you consider yourself having a horrible year and then you look and you hit .270. I mean, a horrible year in the old days, I mean, you'd hit .220 or 210, something like that.
1 year ago today, 175 with a home run. Now he's at 405, 2 home runs. Last April, Cano hit 151. That's 1/6 of your season. Count 1-2. The inaugural season begins today. 80 more regular season games here at the new house. The 1-2, driven the other way.
Now you're at the point as a hitter where those late afternoon shadows could play a part, and it makes your at bat even more difficult. As difficult as it is when you're down 10-2 in the 9th inning, and you desperately don't want to be the last out. You want to get on base, but you can see that Betancourt is standing in somewhat of the sunlight, and then as a hitter, there's plenty of shade between you and he.
Right up the middle, another base hit for Robinson Cano.
So you don't give away those at bats. Right. 4th time he's been on base this afternoon. 3 hits and a walk. See, Betancourt tried to get one down and away, but kind of on the out of 3rd, but it was up. Cano's second 3-hit game of the season.
Here's Matsui. Matsui today, 1 for 2 with 2 walks.
This is what I was talking about. Reminding the other team, you'll be back tomorrow. They keep putting men on base. Nobody wants to be the last out of a ball game.
Matsui pops it up. And it's out of play tomorrow. Java Chamberlain against Anthony Reyes. And we're going to start our coverage at 12 o'clock with the batting practice show, 12:30 with the pregame show, First pitch is about 105, so mark that down. It's a very rare Monday afternoon or Friday afternoon start.
That was Matsui's best swing of the day right there, and fouled the pitch off. See, if that was Cano, that'd been a base hit.
Exactly.
Difference, Cano's not missing him, and right now Matsui is struggling a bit.
One outside.
And even though Matsui's fouling some good pitches off, I get the sense that he's going to start coming on. I mean, he's got 2 walks, infield hit today. Sometimes it's just positive reinforcement as a hitter. I might be moving in the right direction here. I see what you mean by Betancourt taking his time. I know it's a force of habit, but he looked at Posada twice before delivering the ball like he was going to be stealing it. And intend to.
If you count how long it takes, like just from the set, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Strike. Count 3 and 2. Visit the online shop of the New York Yankees at Yankees.com. It's the official online shop. Browse the largest selection of authentic team gear, including clubhouse caps and T-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Yankees.com shop. Three-two. Popped up and out of play. Indians have 13 hits. Yankees have 9.
To me, as I watch Matsui, it looks like his front shoulder's coming out a little too quick. It looks like he's a little pull happy. When Hideki's really hitting the ball well, he can hit the ball as well as any left-handed hitter to left field. And some pretty good pitches. Pitcher makes a good pitch and he just sends it in the left. But right now it looks like he's looking to go deep.
3-2, and he walked him. And the bases are loaded with the Yankees here in the bottom of the ninth. Along with Paul O'Neill and Ken Singleton, I'm Michael Kay. You are watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yes Network. The inaugural game of the inaugural season at the new Yankee Stadium. Indians with 9 runs in the 7th lead the Yankees 10-2. And the Yankees looking for a late rally. And here comes Carl Willis to talk with Rafael Betancourt.
And this is what the Indians didn't want to do. They're getting their bullpen up. Somebody's going to throw a few pitches in the bullpen to get ready. And Betancourt continues to struggle here in the ninth, and they'll have to go to yet another pitcher.
Hey, tomorrow night on Yes, check out an all-new Forbes Sports Money presented by the Fox Business Network. Find out which of this year's NFL draft picks makes the most financial sense and see which global soccer teams are worth the most. It's a new Forbes Sports Money tomorrow night at 9:30 only on Yes. So here's Cody Ransom. Ransom today is 0 for 4. Ransom's really having trouble up there.
Yeah, he swung at that one like he barely saw it. Kind of a half swing. Looked like he tried to lay off as the ball was halfway to home plate. Might have been out of the strike zone.
Pitch is high, 1-1. Posada's at third, Cano's at second, Matsui is at first. The Yankees not going quietly into this Thursday night. Trying to keep this game alive, down 10-2. Indians have a new closer, Kerry Wood. And with a 10-2 lead, there's no way that Eric Wedge even wants to think about getting up Kerry Wood.
If he has to, you know it's been a tremendous rally.
Yeah. Now Victor Martinez goes over and talks to Betancourt as there is some action in the bullpen.
Masa Kobayashi.
Okay.
The 2-1. Foul back, 2-2. Long set and the 2-2. This could be it. There's one. On to first. It's a double play. And the first game at the new Yankee Stadium is over as the Cleveland Indians beat the Yankees 10-2. Indians pick up their third victory of the season against 7 losses, and the Yankee record evens up at 5 apiece, 5-5. CC Sabathia got the start.